Yo, hello and welcome back to the channel. Mijn naam is Viggy en ik maak video's. Mostly of Yiddish. Van we vangen doen de handige video. Please consider liking, sharing and subscribing. Dat helpt mij in de channel also tremendously. En ook dat je kent weer naar channel member. That would be greatly appreciated. To help the channel. Give a hit the join button. And welcome to Dienstagnacht. Ba-da-dee-da. Dovet. Hello and welcome. Moisha Lex. Hello and welcome. Dovet, how are you? Dovet Klein. Who rechecks that on? Or the Hasidic family with money. Warning for every family. Wer is das? Das geht mal paar Minuten bis du check that an. Hersh King. David Klein, good morning. Yeah, different times. Living L'chaim. Good, so it's on other days and machen Living L'chaim. Morgen. Oder der zweite Tag, either or. Some bis de Wahl 3 votes. Ik feel a bit dizzy, so ik ben a bisschen off. So the dizzyism. Hershey King, how are you? I'm doing alright. Ik ben een beetje dizzy. Ik was aan het gewinnen op haar walk. Ik voel een beetje lightheaded. Ik heb actually niet gewoon maken live. Hershey Green. Hello and welcome. We zijn gewinnen aan het ook. Ik heb niet gezien. Ah, de Freilich Band. Ich meine, wir müssen diese Review an in der Früh. Es ist mehr ein Morning Review. Meaning to say, es ist nicht vorhanden nach. Aber ich darf es noch reviewen. Give me the keys. Something like that, also ich fange an. Get you very free. How are you, Hershey King? Ich gehe von fragen. How was your day? The shiny Are you doing a live stream on your side at Pesach? No. Not really. Ich glaube nicht, als Sachmenschen wollten das appreciate it. So, in ook dat glaube ich, ich mache Side. Sie können machen ein live review. Sie mehr intricate. Penny G. Hello and welcome. How was your day? Schön dit zu sehen. Sally. Hello and welcome. Sally, ich trug nicht solche meine Danges. Ich trug nicht solche meine Headaches. I don't need to carry it, so... Chaim. Hello and welcome. Van wie checks that aan? Schijn dit te zijn, doe. Als ik zijn, doe de vote. Oh, Ellie Webber is winning. Het is other Ellie Webber. Others is Nachayavo met Leah Foster. Sally, how was your day? Chaim, how was your day? Sally is schon gewohnt. Pinigi will wissen. Chaim, I got that getting too. Nice. Okay. You never thought, Sally, you'll vote for Ellie, huh? On your status, it sounds like. Weißt du, das mit sound like? Ich habe mal ausgehört etwas, so gesound wie etwas, but wir würden uns gehen totally beglauen ist jent. You know what I mean? Das Wissen, Herr Schimann, Status ist mainly gemacht worden von Menschen zu trachten. In Turkey, wir do riesige, wie heißt das? Protests. So haben arrested über 1100 Menschen plus Journalists. Statistics, 1300 über in Turkey. Oh, nice, Sally. So kind of you. Ook het zeggen als the first black Republican woman elected in Congress is gestorben. March 23rd. I can't promise it will be good. I can guarantee it. You guaranteeing that you can't promise? All right. That's twisted. Ari Chaimowitsch, ich meine, ob es ausgeht. Sie tut die Video jetzt, wie jener gesucht wegen der Army, als es she enjoyed live, bis gewonnen. Kann ich lieber sagen, meine Titles. Sie tickt mich auf. Like, beruhig dich, okay? Sally, you have to say that it was awesome. A second after I said that, it takes me the wrong way. I'm joking. Freedom of speech. Viggy decided starts with a duff. Also ich wollte gekannt da rupholen, eine ganze Seite, also wie der Rebbersleine, hat ich selbst schon gemacht auf live. You know what I mean? Kenne ich schon mal solche Chances. Okay, so in some mehr votes of Ellie Webber. Some 9 votes. By the way, as I hope ich schon do, give us a foot with the like button. I guess I'll wait another few minutes. Sehen welche de Eulen will attacken watchen. So shoe in 2 minutes. So heißt Breaking the Silence, Suicide Prevention, and Coping with Loss in Jewish Life. Okay. Ich meine, der Everman hat a... Hold on, ich meine, ich black hem. Na, ich meine, als der Mensch auf der rechten Seite, der mir interviewt, hat auch gegeven dat een stukje podcast or something. Do lieper with meaningful people. Maar je heet als een guy zijn bij wie? Bei der zweiten, ich habe decided, dass ich will warten bei Jens. Meaningful Minute hat Zeit. Ari Chaimowitz with Avicii Cohn was great. Okay. But it's immer für der zweite Nacht, die eine Sache. Oh, wow. Ella votes. Ellie Weber is still winning. Ellie Weber is still pulling. Tight vote, and some of the pool votes are back, yeah. Wow, so 45 versus 55. Ella votes. Ellie Weber. Oh, Svella votes. 58. Dratzen votes. Oh, okay. I see what people are doing. Playing around. Messing around. People are messing around. Mention that from stimulation. And who are we to deny them some stimulation? The yacht for Wawa Jacobson. Pa 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 pa. It's about 18 votes. It's made interesting the ganze vote business. Brooklyn. Happy birthday, Brooklyn. Happy birthday. Hello and welcome. Birthday boys in the house. I voted from 5 accounts. Nice, Hershey. Okay. We'll give it another 2 minutes. And then I'm ending the poll. And whatever the poll, that's what we're going to watch. So far, Yavo is winning. The poll is rigged. 50-50. Yankee T. Hello and welcome. Not fair, don't have another account. It's nicht just nicht fair. Then I'm an advantage of the situation. Lipa B. Good evening. Thank you. C.H.S. Hello and welcome. Schön, dass Sie sehen, du. Mach sicher, dass die Votes sehen, welche wir gleich watchen. And as a coming show, give us a consider liking. Wow, what a tight situation. Mit alle Michigassen. Okay, I'm guessing as nach Yavo's situation hat gewonnen. Okay, I'm auslöschen the music. Hold on. The Benny Friedman. Auslöschen the Benny Friedman. Okay, let's go. Tidam padam padam. 17,000 views. Leah Foster exposes the truth about comedy, controversy, and cancel culture. Let's go. Sam. Hello and welcome.
Belted me. I am successful because I've been rejected. I have what's called post-traumatic growth that you can only get from being rejected.
What do you mean, Sally? There was a vote. There was a vote going on. All right, let's go. Let's go.
What are the 3 business ideas you have, and which of those can you actually do in reality?
What? You want me to answer as Bailey or you want me to answer as Leah Foster?
As Bailey.
Top 3 business ideas that exist already or that don't exist?
Business ideas you
Okay, aber davon an meine Kopf, als sie ist a Comedian. Und wenn sie kommt daran zu Comedy, darf man gedenken, nicht alle Comedy fit für jedem. Get what I'm saying? Du Menschen, was kennen sind funny, und für die sind sie bekannt nicht funny, but then there is a whole crowd was that are actually funny. So, gotta remember that.
have.
First of all, my top business, ladies, camera, this one's for you. www.stipandip.com. Go to my website. It's a mikveh. It's very personal, very personal. I'm a mikveh lady. Check every nook, every cranny, everything in between. So that's
Okay.
number 1.
What is the Stip and Dip idea?
Oh, it's basically you go to the mikveh. You dip, then you stip. Very simple.
Okay,
It's not
okay.
complicated.
Nach je kijkt als ja kleine kind. He's like sitting there like, oh, what's happening?
We keep it simple. Next up, we have so many.
This is whack. Yankee, als komt to comedy, hat jeder einen zijn level. Jeder zijn level, was meint funny. So,
Next up, I have a huge bakery, Bailey'sBonnery.com. Taste my buns. Nobody makes bilkelach like I do. That's another. I have a ton.
seht mich, sie macht mehr Comedy häusig von chassidische Frauen.
A ton of good ones.
I'm listening.
Volvi, hello and welcome. How was your day? How are you? Welcome. But, yeah, ze zijn aan mijn type of comedy as well. Ze niet zo wie deze was zich zien op Netflix, but...
Recently, forget Glam Squad. I have Pit and Blow on the go.
Pit and blow on the go.
In the house, we blow you like nobody, okay? We even throw in a little scissoring for the people who like that.
What is the most juicy words in Yiddish you have?
Oh,
She's spicy. She's trying to be funny.
feh. Feh's my favorite.
Feh?
Feh. Feh, it just sums up everything. Even when I'm having a bad day. And instead of getting down on myself, I just go feh. It feels so cathartic, you know? It's good.
Another one,
Smakelijk.
another Yiddish word.
Another grub. He's such a grubber. He has such a
grubber.
grub behavior. It's just like vile and feh.
All right, what is that entertainment? Do you want to explain a little bit what that is?
So, entertainment is entertainment, but yenta style.
That's all it is?
That's all it is.
Wow, that's simple.
Very simple.
Talk to me. Let's
Ich weiß nicht, was hat nicht verstanden. From the first time.
start about talking a little bit about Tichel Tuesday, how it all started. Tichel Tuesday is a
Ah, Tichel Tuesday. Etwas gedenken wegen Tichel Tuesday. Als sie hat, nu, gemacht als ich Tichel Tuesday videos.
topic
Du wird. Hello and welcome. Schön, dir zu sein.
that I actually started watching years ago. And I didn't know you, but for all of you, I don't know
By the way, Sally, when you ask someone if your birthday is coming up, everybody's birthday is coming up.
her well. We know each other. We met in the past, I think, in a club or something a few years ago, but
Could
I
you
don't know
believe
her. We didn't talk in years.
Holiday, could you believe it? Okay.
For all of you, I don't know her well. We know each other. We met in the past, I think, in a club or something a few years ago, but
Could
I
you
don't know
believe
her. We didn't talk in years, and I reached out to her and I asked if she wants to come up, and she was like, sure, why not? So we're going to get to know a little bit closer to the Tichel Tuesday situation.
I will, but first I want to give you a compliment. Why did I say yes? Because there are many people that reach out to me and I say no. I mean,
Seht, wir nehmen Ritschach heraus. Ich bin nicht mit Rejection, ich riech nicht heraus, ich kann mir nicht sagen nein, und fertig. Wir warten bis das Ganze nachher, und ich will reviewen nachher. Ich loben beide auf meine Show. Hello.
immediately go to their page and I say, who are they? Not a fit. I think what you're doing is phenomenal. You're covering territory that hasn't been covered in our community. And it used to be, oh, yeah,
Is the point sie coveren Sachen? Just sie coveren? Oder is the point sie öffnen the event? Which is, sie sind dieselbe Sache, was es zwei andere Sachen. Meaning to say, öffnen the horizons, kicken, weiter, trying zu sehen, in a scheine Öfen, ist eine Sache. Und auch dem Stammer soll reden von Sachen, weil das guy bringen views and clicks. That can be a different one, you know?
podcast, foy, like, but media is changing and it's so good that you're bringing
Herrschking, what do you mean save the life? Alle lives so far sind gesaved.
the right topic.
Why should you leave? What do you mean you should leave? Die darfst hin, wo die darfst hin. Keiner soll dich anhören, wo es hin,
And the right of interest to our community. We're big enough. We're our own nich now. So obviously I've been doing this Heimish character my whole life. Even when I was in the community, even when I was in high school, I always did like...
In high school is a joke. In high school is given a goal.
This is what I grew up with. This was the woman that I knew growing up. The one
Your
that
mother was like that?
No, but everyone around me. My grandmother was like that. I had aunts, I had cousins. We used to go to Williamsburg to my grandmother all the time, and that's the shops that we went to. Everyone had something in the basement. My first brassiere was from Neischla's, from Sarah Sepage, which was in a basement at the time.
Wow.
Like, that's where I got...
Nachi is ook, wow. Nachi, wie ist die bei jemand Dambra? Like Nachi weist. Like, oh, okay.
Fitted, right? So that was my memories growing up. So I always had that Heimish character. I got married. I changed a little bit. I became a little more modern. And...
Kijk even eens in de week wie ze redt. Ze is taka a joke, aber ergens wie inside the joke is it's like, modern.
I got married. I changed a little bit. I became a little more modern. And a friend of mine at the time, her name is Rifki Appel, you might know her, she said to me, you should put a tichel on your head and do Tichel Tuesday. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, who's going to care about that? And I was like, I'm going to do a lady from S&W, because that was my childhood.
Appliances?
My mother would grab me there. S&W clothing.
Clothing, okay. Where is it then?
Nicht in Brooklyn, sie haben nicht nicht orange bag, like the pink bags.
It is in Borough Park.
Borough Park, okay.
13th Avenue. The type when you walk in, the woman's like, you know what I mean? And your mother's like, okay, take a dressing room. She's a little busty, just so you know. That's how it starts, right? Then they bring you outfits to try on. It's like, this one is...
A little busty. Nora, du bist busty. Einer was is shine dar. I wouldn't think they would say busty.
Better Wochen. Never in my life heard of Better Wochen.
Right.
That's business casual, by the way, for the regular people out there. So that's what I grew up with. And so it was very normal for me to pick on a million of these
Du wat enjoy, aber sie ist eine lächtige Nacht.
scenarios and incorporate them into comedy. But of course, with comedy, you exaggerate everything a little bit. Like rappers, you know, all these songs they write about their mothers and their this, it's exaggerated. So it's art. It's not actual reality. This is comedy. But every once in a while, I'll get a person on my page that won't know that it's comedy. And then they'll start criticizing me. I'm like, hello, it's a character.
Right, so this is what I want to also talk about, the character. First of all, when did you realize that you're a funny person? Like,
By the way, character meint man nur, sag mal auf a stage oder auf a movie oder auf a stage of the movie. But a character can auch sein in real life. Sie tanzt daran in a character.
So should I take this off now?
if you're ready?
Okay, I'm ready. I think I could always put it on. I transform.
I'm definitely not as funny as Laura. You're very happy with
Always picked to be the funny.
Comedian. You realize that you're a funny character for real, for yourself, and you decided you're going to be a comedian.
Ich habe a feeling that it zu sein. I always knew.
I was born this way.
Bah!
I was absolutely born this way. I was always picked to be the funniest part. You know, in the story of the Pedem Spiel, there was never even a character. There was literally
Human, realist. How you doing, babylicious?
never a character, a Pedem clown. But they made me the Pedem clown, like as a young kid.
And when did you start doing it for money?
I was young. I think I was not even 10 years old. I was in the bungalow colony. So that's like a place
what age?
where, not 10. And I had much older kids than me, and I charged 25 cents, and I made night activities.
Wow.
And I charged, and big kids would pay, and boys would want to come. And of course, you're not allowed to go because it's like boys and girls had to be separate. But I did it at a very young age. And as soon as I can, I always made concerts and shows, and I charged.
So we're going to get there.
The person heißt Leah Foster. Sie ist a comedian. Yeah. So sie geht mal bis an ihr life.
At what age you got married the first time?
20.
20 you got married, you were still Hasidish at that point?
It's a tough one. It's like everyone you ask will say, what's Hasidish? To me, I was considered Hasidish. I grew up in...
Ich kann verstehen, einer soll wissen, als es eine funny. It's just the way, you know, sie haben gesehen Menschen, wenn sie gewähnen jünger, sie haben gemacht Jokes, sie sehen Menschen lachen. Wenn ich mache, häusig von einer Territz, like so wie ich auf Free gesagt, Mach ich es like choisig fin der Territz. It's just sometimes man weiß die Sachen von dem. Like, usually I know it's funny. Man fragt him, oh, so when did you know you were funny? Well, 4 years ago, we had this terrible car accident. And gewoon going machen jokes, you know what I mean? She funny, like an actual comedian. Von der Chassidische Welt, human realist. She's funny, only for her style of people. Sie nicht, comedy is eher, sie nicht funny für jedem.
Bar Park. I was born in Williamsburg. My father wears a shtramel. My oldest brother wears a shtramel. To me, I thought I was Hasidish. Now I realize, according
Sie redt sie der Kamera, nicht sie nachher.
to other Hasidish people like Ricky Rose, I wasn't as Hasidish. My brothers went to more yeshivas. You know, they were
Litvish?
more, yeah, like they went to Chassan Sofer originally, but then they went to, you know, Tells and Yeshiva South Fallsburg. Like we were considered more with it, Bar Parkers, more aufgeklärt.
Right.
I was a Beis Yaakov girl, so I was an
Wow.
ultra Hasidish. That I got married, and a lot of people have a misconception, and this goes out to all the people in Bar Park and Williamsburg that watch it and say, "Oh, please, Leah, you were not raised that Hasidish." You go in the media and you talk about being raised so Hasidish. You have to understand, to me, that was Hasidish. Like, I got married at 20. I was an old maid when I got married. I was
I like how she uses the word old maid.
considered like an older single. Our friends that weren't married, we
Right.
felt sorry for ourselves that we were not married. So when I married my husband, I was thrilled. My husband was a dentist. He was a good-looking man. He went to Chassan Sofer. He was smart. He was kind. He was a good man.
Were you attracted to him?
Did I know what
Und nachher will ich kommen zu der lesbian question. So fuhrt gleich hin. No, wo tät sich?
attracted was? Now, looking back, no, I was not attracted to him. I had no idea what that meant. I was definitely attracted to other people in my life before him.
Girls?
Yes. So I'm aware that
So you were aware from a young age that you're not straight?
No, I didn't know what that meant. Like, I did what everyone else did. I went to college classes. I went home
Wait, what do you mean you went to color classes? How would that make a difference of knowing?
and tried to be a good wife. I provided for my husband in all the ways, and I never felt anything. And in fact, as time went on, I felt actually resentful and disgusted and angry. But what people don't understand is this body did not belong to me. I watched your interview, and so chas v'shalom, not to compare, but I grew up in a very violent and abusive home. My father, people ask me today, what's your relationship like with your father? Because my father's alive, you know, and I could say that I try. I try, and I can't understand for the life of me why I'm trying. Why would I want a relationship with someone who pushed me down the steps, who beat me up, who took off his strap and belted me and kicked me and embarrassed me? Why would I want a relationship with someone like that? However,
This is most probably well the human body will hold a relation.
I'm doing the healing, and I understand my father was a product of a Holocaust survivor, but I'll tell you, it sucks because he's still alive, and I would love to feel close to him. I don't think I can. I can't. It's too much of my childhood that he took away from me. So when I got married, I didn't understand the concept of my own body. My body did not belong to me. I was beat from a very young age.
Oi, Tata.
And yes, you're told from a young age that you're going to get married. You better be married by this and this time. Then you'll have babies. These aren't your choices. How would I know if I want a baby or if I don't want a baby? I didn't think about it. How would I know if I want to even marry anyone, let alone a man? Didn't think about it.
Right.
Wasn't even
Because
an
in
option.
fact, I don't like
Options kommt nur,
labels.
Options kommt nur, wenn Sachen sind sehr geht. Wenn Sachen sind nicht so geht, nicht du kann Options.
And I don't identify as anything, but Lamaisa, who I am to the core, I don't believe I'm a monogamous person. I don't. I don't think monogamy is like how I would label myself.
I know what
That-
monogamous is. Not everybody knows. Maybe you just...
Okay, so monogamous means you are committed to one person in
the rest
all
of it.
the ways, not necessarily for the rest of your life, for that time period, right? I personally
Bis er geht.
don't think that humans at all points of their life need to be committed to one person all the time. Sometimes, like, I'm healing or I'm going through stuff, and I actually need to be committed to only to me. And I don't want to give that energy to somebody else.
Ich meine, als ob sie meint, dass in der Weg verstehe ich ihn. Meaning to say, schlafen mit anderen?
And also, I don't want to feel like somebody else is responsible to fulfill me with every single thing I need all the time. The point is, I never had a chance to figure out what I...
Ich verstehe, was sie meint zu sagen, but that's not the word, what that word means, no? Jene Wort Monogamy meint just zu sein mit einem, nicht haben andere Relations mit anderen.
am, what I'm not, what
In haben a relationship mit sich, while Chasana gab, meint nicht, dass du bist, hast a open relationship.
I like, what I don't like. Because when you're raised to eat gefilte fish on Shabbos, you think gefilte fish is delicious.
It's actually
Is she funny? Are you asking me? Ich hab actually nicht lieb they mean humor. Like, I don't see that humor as funny.
good.
Ugh.
I love it.
Ah, my girlfriend loves that. Don't come next to me with that breath,
Okay,
girl.
okay. So at what age in your marriage you realize that you want to leave and you want to be with a girl? And what was the first
Wanna
experience
be
you had
with
with
a
a girl?
woman.
I did not want to leave my marriage because of women. My marriage was not good. It was never good. We got married. I was young. He was much older than me. For me, I thought it was much older than me. He was 8 years older than me. We were not in the same place in life. I was so traumatized and I was like so dysregulated and unhealthy in all the ways. But I was so excited to finally get married and not be in my parents' house anymore. And my husband was
There's a common theme, this. Well, but at least nicht in daheim.
a good man.
Sadly.
But shortly
Ich lache so, but it's sad.
after we got married, look, I'm a very spiritual person. My ex-husband is not spiritual at all. He, is atheist.
Okay.
So for that alone, just for faith and fundamentals, we're not a match. So it has nothing to do with me being straight or gay or anything. I
She's being straight about that. Hello.
need somebody who wants to wake up in the morning and go to shul. That's what I needed in my life. I needed somebody who cared about selling chametz on Pesach and bringing in Shabbos with delicious smells and food, and he doesn't.
Her ex-husband is an atheist, she says.
He just is not passionate about those things. It's not a bad thing. He's passionate about a million other things. Not a match. So it festers inside of you. I'm unhappy. I'm not having my needs met. Has nothing to do with sex. But of course,
And now he's like, damn it. It's nothing to do with sex. Hey, Pusha the Chiller. Hello and welcome.
when you're not attracted to someone and when you're not building intimacy with someone, sexually, you're not going to be compatible either. So we were not a match for every reason, not for that. We weren't a match about the way we viewed life.
So why did you bring a baby into the world?
Oh, great question. Not only
One,
did I
right?
bring a baby, I had fertility issues and I tried. Because why does anyone bring, like anyone young, you know what I mean? And like when you're in the community, I was told, you get married, you're a wife, you bring children into this world.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's my place in the Heimish community? If you're not married and you don't have a child in the Heimish community, where do you fit in? Where do you
Nowhere.
fit in on Shabbos?
Ist auch da mordige Sache, wenn Singles, ich habe Friends, die sind Single, es ist also eine ganze Rachmunis jede Woche. Jede Woche schauen wir ganze Menschen, die haben schon eine Family, sie haben Kinder, und jede Mal ist es extra pain.
Fit in on Yontif, which is the core of our community essence. So I had to do that to fit in. Now that being
Sadly, what is I feel for a child. Most of the people I know had kids for that reason, just to fit in.
said, my child is the greatest gift
When you're 19 years old, weißt du nicht, Kinder, especially in the community, you just want to make them fit in. You want to fit in because fitting in equals survival.
ever. And I'm sure you feel the same way. It's
Great.
like,
How
you
old is
know,
she?
20.
Wow.
20.
How old are you, Leah?
43.
the
Best
fuck outta
age ever.
I don't believe it.
Highly
Leah,
recommend
I don't
it.
know how you guys see it on camera, but you look so beautiful. Not that 43 is old, but you look
I know what you
really
mean.
young.
Thank you. And I
didn't
think
think-
I'm aging backwards. I really do.
Wow.
I believe that, and no
Benjamin Button, sie aged verkehrt. Bei der 60 hat sie ausgegangen wie 11.
Botox or whatever, and Hashem should just give me the beauty to age gracefully. I think it's trauma, a lot of trauma. I think something magical happened to me
Busted.
every time I was beat and every time I was strapped And every time I was exposed, and when I got fired from my job, and when I was canceled, I believe it made me better, stronger, sexier, smarter, wealthier,
Du hast gegeben gelachen vor daran zu acten.
holier, all the things.
Kennst du die ganze Attitude hat sich gechanged. Sie gegangen von a down zu a up.
And every time I was exposed, and when I got fired from my job,
What?
and when I was canceled, I believe it made me better,
Change.
stronger, sexier, smarter,
Das ist der Smile, der gekommen hat sich jetzt gegeben a change.
wealthier, holier, all the things.
Let's dive
Pinny, wegen dem Retzi. Weil Menschen noch können connecten.
into the topic of comedian, the Hasidic community. How did it start? I heard that you were a very, very, very strong comedian, the only actually woman comedian in the Hasidic community. And somehow you left, they dropped you. I'm not sure what happened. You lost business. I'm not.
I'd like to break the stereotype that the reason why people leave the community is because they're failures, right? It's like, oh, because they're miserable and they're failures and therefore they leave. By all accounts, I was a very big success. I was a very successful high school teacher in Beis Yaakov Derav Meir and in Mesoras Beis Yaakov and in Lev Beis Yaakov. I was teaching for many, many years.
This will be Bubba 48 and 46.
I have thousands of my frum students out there. So that's number one. In fact, one of my students got engaged to my ex.
No way. That's funny. Okay.
She called me to tell me that she was, and then I brought her under my wing. I introduced her to my fiance. We went out, and I would ask her, like, what's her type? And she even told me, your type is like your fiance.
Wow.
That's what she told me. And so but we always kept in touch. Like, nothing happened with them. And then my fiance and I broke up, but her and I still kept in touch.
Which fiance is she talking about?
And randomly, one day she sent me a text and said, you'll never believe who I matched with on Hinge. And I said, well, if it's my ex, I give you my blessing.
Ex, wer? A Meidel ex?
Didn't work with us, but she's a great person. Maybe she healed.
Who's the next? The Leah?
Leah. I was like, go for it. And she's like, that's so weird.
Ich bin ein bisschen confused in der Story. Sie redet von ihr jetzige... I don't know.
I would never do that. And I was like, Malky, it's much more appropriate for you, your age, your whatever. And everyone deserves love, even if it wasn't meant for me. And she's like, I would never.
Her student mit wem man? Mit ihr ersten Mann? Oder mit ihr... I guess she was engaged to a girl? We missed that.
7 months later, they're engaged.
Engaged. That's crazy. Let's go back to our topic of the doing comedian work within the Hasidic community. You had a lot of business, a lot of money, I guess.
Tons. No, I
Right.
didn't.
You
I
didn't make
have
a lot of money?
Just to clarify, I made tons of money and I spent every dollar I had.
That's your problem. Mean to
That's
say,
totally my problem.
No, but like the community gave
One of her students got engaged to her ex-husband? No, that's too many years apart. What are you saying? Her husband was 8 years apart from her. She's 43, so he would be 50. And married someone. Her student must be younger than her. So, not sure.
you money.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what
I was very
happened and
successful.
how did it happen that you left or they dropped you? I'm not sure.
Okay. So first of all, shout out to all the women entrepreneurs out there trying to do big things. Don't stop, and you can be whatever you want to be. You don't just have to be a comedian, or you don't just have to be a business owner, or
I think he was 8 years older. She said older. That's what she said. That's what I think she said. Let me put it that way.
just a singer. You could be everything and anything. I do a lot of things, and I do them all with my whole heart, you know? So I always was a comedian. But officially, when I got married and I just had a baby, some Satmar principal reached out to me and said, I'm doing a Hanukkah party for my teachers. I'd love for you to come and do some gramen. I could pay you $50. I gathered information.
What
about
age?
23.
Okay.
I had tons of information about fellow teachers. So when I got there, I did, for all intents and purposes, I did a roast. I did a Satmar roast, but I did it just for the community, and they loved it. They were laughing. And then that teacher told a friend, and that teacher told a friend, and suddenly I was getting hired, and I was out all the time. I wasn't really making money. I was making $75, $100. And then I was like becoming sort of famous in that community.
The fame started off within the Hasidic community.
Fame totally started off in Borough Park.
Okay.
And I didn't realize how quickly and how virally I would go It was insane. My phone was ringing nonstop. I was getting hired to do all these big tzedakah events, and then I was getting called to go to studios and record things and film things. And I met somebody by the name of Gideon Levine. He had a studio.
Oh, Gideon Levine. Oh,
He was putting out an album for Lipa at the time, and I actually met him in the studio. Like, I was walking in, he was walking out.
Is there a clip of her comedy? Se du als ich, when COVID gewesen, als sie got etwas eins in the basement, she had like a whole skit. So, ich hab es nicht, because I don't, for me, she's not like funny, but I get it that she's funny.
It's like, oh my God.
Liebe
And
Schnauze?
yes. And Gideon is like, you should put out an album. And I said, I don't have a good voice like him, like Lipa, or like this guy. He's like, yes, you do, and you're funny. I said, I don't have the money for it. He said, I will handle everything. You show up, you bring me the material, you bring me the comedy, you bring me the stuff. I'll arrange, I'll compose, I'll whatever. It's what I did. And we put out Yentertainment.
That's how it started.
Yeah.
Oh, finally, we got
Put
there.
out an album called Yentertainment. It was such a hit. It went to number one. I sold 10,000 copies in like a couple of months. It was wild. I didn't even know these people. Suddenly, every tzedakah organization was flying me out. I was flying all around the world. I went to Union City and performed in front of 3,500. I call them cabbage heads, because I was on stage and all I saw was tichels. But it was just like a row of cabbages. And genorgeret in Yiddish, the ganze Zeit.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course, they had to approve my jokes, and I wasn't allowed to do accents because that was Goyish and that was Goyish. And I put out another album, and I was making money.
Wie is the albums? I have no idea. I've never even heard these albums.
And then I started putting out DVDs. And at that point, I was also giving a lot back to the community. I was raised on chesed.
Oh, thank you.
I was raised on tzedakah. My parents were like that. My grandparents were like that. So, yes, I was making money, but I was making money for tzedakah organizations. They were really making the money. I was like encouraging them, actually, get out there, make DVDs, do this stuff. The world needs it. And of course, the Rebbes came for me. And of course, I got aser the whole bunch.
Why and who?
About Frauen, soll sein daheim, machen Kegel, soll sein draußen, especially because I was doing things for Hasidic organizations. I was doing it for Hatzul of Williamsburg. I was doing it for Monroe. I was doing it for Satmar. I was doing it for Zichron Shlomo Refuah Fund. These were hardcore right-wing Hasidic organizations.
Cool. Right wing. Oh, just in the right wing.
I was at the height of my career. The absolute height. I was getting recognition from the whole world, my little world. But in my private life, everything was so sad. My marriage was terribly unfulfilled.
Oh, she was still married
then? I also had incredibly bad habits, eating habits, sleeping habits. I started drinking a little. I never focused on my child. I was so busy on the outside world and their attention and affection that my most beautiful kid who was right there, wanting all that from me, wasn't getting it because I was chasing another fix somewhere else.
Just imagine, ihr Kind hört das aus. Sie können auch mal sagen, get a relationship. Through this pain, if you know what I mean.
Because I was so unhappy.
Which was the comedian thingy?
Yeah, the comedian thing, another friendship, another drama, another yenta, another good job, more money. But I was spending on guests and food and impressing people and not saving and not thinking smart.
So that's the problem. Jetzt gehen wir zurück, man darf weglegen. Wenn wir sind tapf in der Redel, man macht Geld davon weglegen. Man darf weglegen. Nicht impressen andere. What a sad situation. Als einer kommt uns ja apart, wie macht Geld und pischt das aus. Such sadness.
And spoiling my daughter with things that I never had, things that I thought she needed, you know?
But this is not what she needed, you saying?
Not at all.
No.
She just wanted a mom. She wanted someone to sit and listen and hold space.
En een keer geven, die alle zeggen, was me kopen voor de kinderen gewoon niet weer. Ze willen naar oor met haar shoulder. That's all they want.
You know, but I was big. I was a big personality. And like, I heard your podcast.
Her daughter comment was deleted from the original post.
I heard
in de Menach is zo groß, als mensen zullen het archiven.
Talk about money. To me, money was my ticket to freedom, which I have to do the shameless plug. This is my book.
That's a book that came out already?
Club MILF, published.
Club MILF, okay.
It stands for Mothers Interested in Launching Financial Freedom.
Oh, wow.
And people ask me why I don't write a book about my life. Well, it's fiction, and I put it out there as fiction. But if you want to read about me and you want to know tidbits and pieces...
This is the book that's coming out?
It's out.
It's out already?
It is out. Also, what I can't put out there is that, well, unfortunately, I was supposed to do a huge tour with my book. And I was scheduled to go out a few months ago. But unfortunately, a few months ago, my life drastically changed, and I'm committed to being here in the city, actually right here, very close by. So I'm not touring my book.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit about the book. What is the book about?
Okay. The book is about a woman named Leah. She just turned 40. She lives in Brooklyn. She just came out of an ultra-Orthodox marriage and a very toxic rebound relationship, and she's discovering the world for the first time. She goes into a class called Poga, which is pole and yoga. I love pole. I've been doing pole for many years. Wow. I actually met a lover and an ex at a Zumba class. That's why you shouldn't do Zumba. And she invited me, and I fell in love with pole. It's very strong. It makes me feel very strong. And I don't do it publicly. I do it for me. So for those of you out there that are like, see what happens? You go do pole. And she meets a group of women who invite her to a private club called Club MILF. And her world turns upside down when she enters the club. It's not what she thought it was. She thought MILF, but it's not. Some mother's interested in launching financial freedom. She meets the CEO named Meryl, because in my...
So if I was just to get named on book MILF, ich mir darf explain an a MILF and nicht, wo die meist MILF is. That could be like a comedy error. This can machen, als Menschen sollen nicht kaufen the book. Just saying.
Fantasy, Meryl Streep will play this role, and I'm in talks, actually. We're trying to turn this into a movie. And Meryl teaches these women how to run the world.
I think the rest of the story we're going to have to let them read because we're going to have to cover that because it sounds very interesting, and I would love to read it.
For you.
Thank you very much. You know
and by the way, if you don't want to read it, I also have something called an audiovisual book, which is a full entire book. It's a movie of me reading the story, and it's interactive, completely interactive. So it's sounds, it's whatever. Instead of just listening, you can actually watch me read the entire
that would be very interesting. I'm going to put it right over here. So in the meantime, back to our topic. So you're doing a lot of comedian jobs. Then they started slowly answering you, the Rabbonim or whatever.
But it made me more famous.
It made you more famous on Instagram.
By the way, Chazai lieb Nachi of the week was fragt in He's keeping it good. He's very good. I like him.
Instagram, maybe.
No, this was before the world of Instagram.
But you're losing work.
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. What people don't understand is controversy sells to someone. Someone is interested in controversy. I'm learning it myself, and I'm learning it the hard way. You know, it's very sad that that's how it is. But I could put out such good content, it doesn't go viral. I could put out why I'm not friends with Abby Stein anymore, and that goes viral. Right. It's crazy. Where I sat in front of the camera, I had no special effects, and I was just talking. That goes viral. It's really weird.
So you're saying you love the community and you didn't lose money?
Oh, no. What I was saying was I was asked a lot. I kept making a lot of money, but I was really not happy. I was not happy, and things started happening in my personal life. Like, first, it started with one of the jobs I was teaching somewhere, and the principal called me in and said, Leah, unfortunately, we've been hearing rumors, and we need to let you go.
What was the rumors?
That I was gay. And I was...
a little birdie, huh? A little birdie came and told us, you are gay. Who knows that video where the guy asks on the interview, why are you gay? Shaya. Hello and welcome.
Terrified. And I left without a sound. I didn't say a word. I was just like, get me out of here. And then people started talking about me.
You were still married?
I was still married.
So how did the noise come out?
Well, my husband and I had an agreement or arrangement or whatever you want to call it. And he claimed he was fine with me and other girls. I had confided in him that I had feelings for girls, that I actually met someone and I had feelings for her. And he said...
Hold on.
We bring in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr? Pepe Julian Onzima. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Good morning.
having me. Morning to you.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
Why are you gay? That's how the meeting went down.
It's fun. I don't care what you do, la, la, la. He claimed he didn't care. Of course, like, we're looking back now. This is such a long time ago. We're both very young. Of course he cared. Of course that's not how a relationship works. Never should have done that. We never should have opened that door. But like me and many other girls that I know, that's the door that opened. We call them lilies. We have secret groups that stand for later in life lesbians.
What door did you open?
Welcome.
A door that I realized I really was attracted to women. And it was a door I wanted to explore.
So you regret opening that door?
No, I don't think that it's a door that people should open if women just want to play. I think there's something bigger there to be discussed. I don't think that every husband should just be like, sure, go have sex with women because...
What do you mean? Her husband should say, no, don't go anywhere, and you should stay miserable for the rest of your life?
At the end of the day, like, sex is not just sex.
So you're saying what you feel is that if your husband is giving you permission to go with a girl, a sexual experience or whatever, something like that, you might fall in love.
Watch out. I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, there's a reason why the Torah has rules and the Torah has boundaries.
But just imagine if the story would have been worse, the husband would have said no, and then later on she would have been like, oh, you didn't let me go, it's all your fault. All right.
On sex, it's because it does mean something. It's not stam azoi. And like, at least I know for me, I probably have had sex with less people than most people in the world. It's under one hand. I can count the amount of people I've had sex with. I'm 43. Because I also took sex very seriously, also because of all my physical and sexual trauma. Like, my body was not safe. I don't have a memory of giving birth. I don't remember pushing my baby out. I slowly remembering because my body was physically there, but I was on top of my body. Like, I was in my 20s. My husband wasn't even there. I was alone. I didn't know what was flying with my body. I had no connection to it.
So how was the slap in your face when the community stopped taking you anymore for comedian jobs? You
It
took
didn't matter
hard?
at all because I was already so successful as a comedian that there was enough jobs for me. I was doing my own.
By the way, was it for not being on? Or
For
was it
being modern, for being like,
uncensored?
yeah, like, on my
Not
jokes.
crazy
But this
uncensored.
was not online yet. I was not on Instagram yet. Now,
So
what
this
happened,
is thrown.
I just started getting on Facebook, Instagram a little bit. There was a couple of social media accounts that I started to see that were huge.
Wait, she didn't have a doula or something like that? I'm not saying as is wel gemacht besser. I'm just asking. She was there all alone.
And I was shocked. All these film girls were going on Instagram and they were having followers and they were wearing short sleeves and they looked cute. And I'm like, what's happening to the Orthodox world? Because again, where I came from, I never saw that. I didn't see with it women having a successful Jewish following. To me, the minute you became more with it or modern, you were ostracized. Like,
Right.
so I was like, I could do that. And my husband was not super Hasidish. He didn't have a beard, so I didn't have any restrictions. My daughter went to Beis Yaakov 18th Avenue. It was a very frum school, very yeshivish, but enough that I was invited still to all their events, and I just wasn't Hasidish anymore. I was making my own concerts. I was making money, but I was unhappy. And I took
For a different reason, not because the community dropped you.
nothing to do with that. I started going to therapy. And through therapy, my therapist said to me, Leah, you are living a double life. I didn't even recognize myself, what it meant, a double life. It meant that all day long I was a teacher in Masorah Beis Yaakov. But after hours, I would take off my skirt, I would put on a pair of jeans, roll up my sleeves, which were covered in tattoos at that point, and I would go out to a club and try to connect with a girl. Now, I wasn't having sex because I was too terrified of STDs. I wasn't having emotional connections because I have a husband and whatever. So all I had was a bunch of meaningless, fake connections to try to fill a void inside of me, including falling in love with someone in my community more than once who had a husband. And that further messed me up because that girl, one of them, made me believe that we could be secret girlfriends for life and that should be normal.
We're already back. We're already back to the seriousness. Sie jumped from comedic to seriousness.
And I had to sit in therapy for years and years and undo that poison that I told myself that I could live a double life because she passed it off as normal. She would have guests around her table on Shabbos while I was playing footsie with her underneath the table.
Wow.
Foy. I'm so disgusted at myself. And I'm ashamed that as I say it now, that I am ashamed at myself because shame plays a big role in this. Of course it's shameful. I was a married woman. I should not be doing things like that. But I was so messed up. It was passed to me as normal. Normal. None of it was normal. Now I still keep in touch with some of my people from my past. And like, I was the bad guy in that story with this girl because I never wanted a relationship with her for real. Because what kind of relationship could we have? She has a husband, I have a husband.
Yeah.
So I was so mean to her. I was so mean to her. I did really mean things to her. And I pushed her away and I alienated her and I gave her the silent treatment.
A woman was acting like a woman. Sie weint of them.
In hopes that like she'll leave me. And then,
She was a bad guy.
And then what? I don't know what I was hoping. But till this day, I still feel guilty about how I treated her. But if you think about it, I myself was holding on by a thread. I wanted love so badly,
I didn't know what to do.
No, and here's the scoop. One of the women I actually fell in love with, I told my husband about, and my husband went and told my family. My mother went to the girl's house and told her, stay away from my daughter. I did not know this until after my mother died. The girl came to tell me.
This is where we're going to start in a minute, getting to your mom's relationship, because this is also, before we get there, I want to talk to you a little bit about your daughter controversy situation. What's the story over there? What's going on? There was a lot of, I heard also that she was shit talking.
She's the zocher in the relationship, I guess so. If she was the bad guy, I don't know.
You on Instagram, your daughter. What happened?
My child and I were working on our relationship.
Still?
Yeah.
Yes. Always. I hope that we work on our relationship till the day I die.
Is there something that you could discuss?
Yeah.
Why did she?
My child has been open about certain things, which is why I'm just being careful with what I'm discussing because I want to be mindful and respect my child's privacy.
Obviously.
But from my end, I wasn't focused and I wasn't present, and that messes up a kid.
Till what age you feel that you were like that?
When she was born, there was a lot of
By the way, sadly, if some human realist, as die kennst es nicht nehmen, meint es, der ist der bessere life. I'm just saying. You get what I'm saying?
There was a lot of hardships in my life. It was a lot of traumas that I was working through. I was so broken. And my marriage was bad. And my husband was very resentful because I would go out, which, again, this is a super Hasidish mentality where if men are home, they believe they're babysitting. And if women are not home, they're not. I was working full time. My husband was not working for many years.
Okay.
And
What do you mean? I thought he was a dentist.
breadwinner, and I wanted to spoil my child with everything, and I tried so hard to give my kid the best, and that required me to work, and that required me to be out, and I wasn't so focused. And unfortunately, the person that I hurt the most was my child because I was keeping a big fat secret. And I'm not going to lay out the details, but I'll say that my child found out my secret in a very, very traumatic way. I was exposed. My sexuality was exposed, and that felt like a huge betrayal to my child.
You didn't tell her?
Yes.
That's what she felt?
Yeah, and the same with my religion, where I was holding with my religion. So my child felt that I lied to them for a very, very long time.
At what age she confronted you?
A teenager, a young teen, because I had already got divorced by the time my kid was bas mitzvah. The way they found out was, your mother is this.
Instead of your mother coming to you,
Yes.
explaining,
Dat is de Hasiddische weg. Hello? Yes. The mommy is gay. Hello? Now go back to school.
The truth is that I myself didn't want to say it because I didn't
Binny, sie ist am Masber, sie hat nicht gewiss damals. So sie redt von Sachen, was, I guess, sie hat kein Issue zu scheren. Aber warum mich? Hello and welcome.
believe it, and I hated it. I didn't want to like women. I didn't want to be not religious. I didn't want any of it. I wanted more than anything to just fit into the community.
To be like everybody.
Yeah. And so I lied to her, my child. And along with lying comes other things. Like, I was a big people pleaser, very codependent. You manipulate a lot. It's like people in relationships. They say yes, yes, yes to everything, but really they're bottling up things inside. So
Avrumi's birthday. Happy birthday, Avrumi. Zusammen mit Brooklyn.
story with me and my child is it's tough. It was tough. We are in therapy. We have an amazing, amazing therapist, someone from the community, actually.
Can she be gay? No, she's the lesbian. But selbe Sache, gay and lesbian.
Working on
Same
rebuilding
thing.
a really tough past. My child has been open about addiction. Look, I'm in Coda for quite a long time, and I definitely have a lot of the qualities of codependent, including enabling. I definitely enabled my child, straight up. I noticed they were using. I looked the other way
Why?
because life was so hard, and I was going through so much, and I also couldn't deal with that. My child had a really bad experience with drugs the same time that my mother died, like the same exact time, which was a shock and horrible because I was praying that I'll build my relationship with my mother again, and that was gone from me. My child was going through addiction and other things and trauma. And honestly, like, do we label people addicts? I don't know. I think I'm an addict. I do. I'm in recovery. I'm sober, but I'm an addict.
Just imagine, ihr Tat hat ihr gegeben Trauma, und sie hat getan andere, but Trauma für ihr Kind. Wenn the cycle stop,
And I think that in addiction and active addiction, people say horrible things.
can Abby's son marry her daughter? I don't know. But Brooklyn, ob Abby's Zin, hat gassen mit die Tochter, hat sie zwei Schwieggers? Hello.
Do horrible things, which isn't a pass.
Marila Zucht, I feel like she is still not working through her issues. I'm sure she is. This is a part von growth.
Yes,
Sie sei gering zu judging other people, be like, "Tia zoi, macha zoi," but sure, life is
my
hard
child
enough.
did post things about me. There were instances where we really got violent because I would find drugs and I would throw them out and it would become violent, And honestly, I didn't handle it in the best way.
Wenn sie sucht drugs, was meint man, wenn man sucht the word drugs?
I did not handle it in the best way. I wish I would have reached out to people more. I wish I would have relied on community. I wish I would have had stronger faith. Because, Nach, you know this, and I'm not putting this on camera, but this you can't put on camera. Right now, today, I'm experiencing one of the greatest challenges in my life. And I'm not doing anything different than I did yesterday or the day before, besides relying on faith, on community, and on lots of therapy and support to make it. But when I was going through what I was going through with my child, I did not do that. I got further into my distractions, more into my own addictions, more into figuring myself out, more into blaming, more into trying to prove what a good person I was. And along the way, I ended up hurting my child and other people and myself.
Wir kennen man a lesson. Na, man darf sehen, wieso man traumatized the Kinder. Meaning to say, the Weg, wieso man dich traumatized, just stopping this doesn't mean anything. You got to see the way you're traumatizing, maybe stop it that way.
Much more.
Did you
Brooklyn zegt, oh, the crocodile tears are coming. Brooklyn, a bisschen hart.
apologize to her?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so
Little
grateful
hearts, but okay.
because another exclusive. I went to my father less than a year ago. I was doing really hard work. And I wrote it down on a piece of paper and I said, Tati, I want to talk to you about things. And I went off. I said, you let mommy call me horrible names. You let her alienate the whole family from me. You beat me to a pulp. You pushed me down the steps. You kicked me. You strapped me. You covered up things.
How does the Pope feel? Juking. Serious,
Took my
Viggy.
money when I was engaged. I saved up money, and my parents took my entire money from me because my in-laws were not rushing to pay for things like they were. So I felt so angered by so many things my father had done that he had not apologized for, and I wanted him to have the opportunity to apologize. My father's not a well man. He apologized. He asked me for mechila, and I
By the way, the kleine act van beten for Mechila is, I would say, more than 50% from the solution. I'm just saying.
actually, I'm going to go on record. I asked my father for some money. I said, I'm buying a house. I'm finally able to do it. I never had support from a husband, never got a dime from my parents.
By the way, hitting the kids, nicht geschlagen the kind meint nicht, die bist da, die abused nicht. You get what I'm saying? I'm dich geschlagen, dich so abused. Just stopping zu schlagen. You might not pass on that exact abuse, but you're doing something else. Maybe. I mean, you got to check yourself.
And it would have been nice.
If you can help me.
And I never heard from him.
So you're saying he apologized to you, but when it came out to take out $1.
Yeah, I said, let me see. I said it into his face. I said, on behalf of Leah Bas Altamindel and Chaya Bas Altalea, I think it's a schus for you because you never gave me any money and all you did was hurt me and take from me. So what do you mean? I did this, I did that. That's what parents do. So that really, really helped me parent differently because I still am alive and I'm only 43 and I have the rest of my life to make things better with my child. So I'm going to do that. And I am sorry because my child deserved better.
Since that day that he didn't want to give you money, was there any contact?
Here's another exclusive. My father's very sick. I shouldn't be laughing about this. It's so sad. And at the end of the day,
But ich can lachen wegen. Come on, the way she puts it down.
I struggle because I am a Torah-observing Jew. I believe in it. I'm not perfect, but I believe in it. And Derech Eretz Kadmon Torah, I believe in it. So I'm so torn because I want to be respectful to my father. My father's wife is so special. She's such a good woman. She runs such a beautiful chesed organization. She's such a kind lady. So I try. So I actually went to visit my father a couple of weeks ago. He hurt himself, and I went to visit him. And 5 minutes into the conversation, he says to me in Yiddish, oh yeah, I said, I live in the city. He said, Foy, I saw a woman that was dressed so inappropriately that I had to walk away because if I would have been there one more minute, I don't know what I would have done. And I just got such heebie-jeebies. We call it the ick. I got the ick. Like, that's my father. Ew. What are you trying to say? That if you would have been there one more minute, you would have touched her as if she wanted it? Like, I got so angry.
What did you tell him?
Nothing. Smiled, held his hand.
She did some husa.
I gave him a kiss, or as we say in Yiddish, a pussy. Hungarian. And my older brother was there. And we looked at each other. There was a moment. And I don't talk to my older brother. I mean, I talked to him, meaning I don't not talk to him, but we're not close at all. And there was just such a sad moment between us. Like, that was my father. Wow. You know, and so as much as my father's a tzaddik and a good man, do I need to be close to somebody that makes me feel all these feelings? And someone may say, well, you should work through it, Leah. You should be able to sit in front of your father and you should be able to talk that way. You know what? He's not changing. He's an old man. I don't need to be around that. I actually really don't. It's not good for me.
And why do you think that it needs to be in the public?
If you're looking to lose weight,
Hold on.
on the best.
Need to be public. Why can't you just schwag and
No,
heal?
I didn't say that. Not schwag.
I am healing publicly. It's not for everyone. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. There are people out there that are like, why does Leah have to be this way, including my own siblings?
Basically, you want people to understand, first of all, that a lot of things that you're going through is because of your past, and you want people to hear your past. And then when you're healing, do it also in public.
By the way, sag mal, gibt's hier Sachen in public, weil man kann kicken auf der eigene. You know, man kann einer sagen, oh, ich so geht's in meine Kinder. But you're really not. You're really not doing anything. You might abuse them in a different way. So select that off the brakes.
That's what you're saying.
I don't think everything, but I do think that I have a platform. I've had a platform since I was a young girl. I always had followers. I was more famous in the Hasidic community at the time because I had a micro influence. I was the only from female performer that was putting out comedy albums and DVDs and flying around the world and selling out shows with thousands and thousands of people. And I was charging a lot of money. I was at the height of my career. I'm lucky.
En sie hat nicht gewonnen, sie hat kein Geld zu kaufen mein Haus. Und dann dachte man, na Mann, I'm joking.
Privileged. I have a public platform. And because I have a public platform, that's why I put it out there about Abby Stein. Because people kept messaging me and saying, oh.
By the way, Sally sucht, dass sie geht machen a egg drop soup. If you make it terribly, you make a jaw-dropping soup.
Are you a queer Jew like Abby Stein? And lumping us into the same category. The same people who assume that I'm super leftist and super liberal because of who I like. Like, it's enough already. You know what I mean? It's 2025. I have a platform. I don't care anymore. At this point, I don't care if you cancel me because I'm this or because I'm that. So yes. Why do I put it out there? Because there are people right now huddled in corners, secretly and privately, listening to my podcast. Some women. I know what you're doing right now. And at the end, of course, a few Hasidic men too. And anyone, actually. But at the end of the day, there are people out there that are watching and listening. And to you, I say, listen to your body. If you're around something that feels yucky, sit with it. And no, you don't need to be around family members just because it's blood, just because it's family. I'm sorry, you don't. Family members need to show up for you. And if they don't, you don't need to give them your energy. I'm sorry. It doesn't mean you have to be mean. It doesn't mean you have to be cruel. It doesn't. It has to be mutually respectable. But
she's not ruling it out though.
That is why I'm public about it. Because there are...
Having kids is so scary. Yep. That's right. Haben Kinder is also wie the coloring book. Kannst du kaufen mal eine? Colorst da draußen von der Line. You gotta live with it.
People out there struggling like me in real time, right now, in relationships with people. Why am I public about what my ex did? And why did I put a voice note out there the way that she spoke to me? Why? We moved on. She's a good person. She's going to have a great life. Why? Because there are people right now stuck in relationships with partners who call them B and C and ignore them for days. And people who have parents or people that are in the Hasidic community that have parents that will say, if you come to the Simcha wearing this, don't come. And they go and they sit there suffering. Don't go. Try once, try twice. That's why I heal publicly. Because there are people suffering. And I wish when I was going through it, there was someone else out there that could have been a voice for me.
Leah, there was a season that you seemed hurt and betrayed out of all of your friends. I'm not sure the story. what it was. What was the story
Oh my
then?
God.
You were going public on that.
There's a couple of them.
So what happened? It was a season that you felt everything is falling apart? What's the story?
Oh, there were more than one seasons. There were
Ich meine, sag mal, wenn man geht durch etwas in life, fühlt man wie jeder eine is against dich. If you feel like everybody's against you, something is wrong with you. You know that saying?
multiple seasons, but I'll start with this.
No, I'm talking about, you were talking about specifically on friends betraying you.
Yeah,
So
there were
what
a few
was it?
seasons of friendships. Okay, let's start here. When I was looking for support outside of the community, I reached out to a couple of friends that were my friends at the time that had left the community, or as we like to call them, the OTD community. These were the people that had also been ostracized, that had left, that had experienced tremendous traumas, horrible custody battles. And so we became this group of queer, fabulous moms. And we were so supportive of each other. And these became my family members. Like, I didn't have Purim with family anymore, but I had Purim with these people, and Hanukkah and Shabbos. And it was really nice. It was so warm and welcoming. And I realized that actually we weren't really friends. Like, if I look back now, we weren't really friends because
Was meint de Wort friends? This is the question. Die aus gemeint seine friends. Oops.
in real friendships, and I mean real friendships, not shopping friends or fun friends, you talk. If someone hurts you, if you hurt someone, you share things. You tell them like, hey, that wasn't cool. You apologize, you repair. I didn't. At least I didn't. And I really didn't share a lot of my personal stuff because I was still pretending to be something that I'm not. So I was dishonest with a lot of my friends. But also, some things in my body didn't align when I was introduced to a lot of the Footsteps crew. Footsteps is an organization that helps OTD people. So I started to meet a lot of these people that had a lot of trauma and a lot of anger, and so did I. And that makes for a great toxic friendship. So we would sit and talk about all the terrible things we went through and how horrible our parents were and how terrible they were, and that's how we bonded. We made a life for ourselves, and we were queer, and we would, and one of the girls that I was in
Zijn definitely going queer, but nicht clear. Hello.
a relationship with,
Leah?
no, this was before Leah, a closeted girl, a married girl from our community, was friends with this crew. And that automatically sexual relationships become more complicated, romantic relationships. And things were getting sticky. This one said that one said that, and it all was true. Like, we were all not being honest with each other, and I also wasn't being honest with them. Long story short, it all blew up in my face. All of it. When we had a group chat. And in this group chat, one of the girls in the group started posting all her sexual activities. How thick the man's D was, and all this stuff. And she was one of those, like, newly, proudly OTDs, very, like, and behind her back, everyone was making fun of her and saying, like, she's being so
Excited.
inappropriate, and she needs to chill. And it happened so many times that at some point I told her, hey, instead of talking behind your back, and she said, you're the only one that feels this way. I'm so traumatized. I come from a community that shut me down for being free. And finally now I want to be free, and you're shutting me down. You traumatized me, you destroyed my life. You're the only one that feels this way. So like a chalamuk, I said, I'm not the only one that feels this way. And I sent her screenshots of what other people felt, and I showed her.
Wow, betrayt jedem auf der Groep. Verloren alle Credit bei mir. A rose von der Winde, a rose von der Winde. Du hast geschrieben, die hast gewissen, permission. Hello.
To prove my point. What a dumb thing to do.
Yes.
And that really hurt her.
Obviously.
And so that was
That's what the issue, that you heard her. Sie gedacht hören das, aber die has betrayed alle deine friends oder nicht. Even friends. That's betrayal.
one bridge I burned
So
in the
where
community.
all of these friends left you?
Wait, that was one bridge. There was another girl in that group. She also left her husband, 2 kids, hard community. She was going into business. She was a certain business, and I don't want to say which one. None of her friends were hiring her. But I was a businesswoman. I hired her a lot for different businesses. One day she didn't show up for her job. So I texted her a few times. You didn't show up. You didn't show up. She responded hours later. Gosh, you're so like harsh. Like yelling at me. I'm like, I'm giving you a job. Like, show up. And then another job and another job. And I hired her for an event. I paid for it. My friends came over to me after the event and said, did you like the gift we bought you? I said, what gift? Turns out she asked them for money too and took my money.
Wow.
So at that point I went on Google and I posted a bad review about her business. And number 2 in that group. At the time,
Sie gang.
the other
Aye,
friends
aye.
are telling me, Leah, you're so cruel. You're so evil. She is not doing well and you are. And you're putting her down, nebuch on her, and making me feel like I'm the bad one. And I was so gaslit at the time. So that, plus my romantic relationship and all that stuff, and another friend, and there was a blog that came out, an anonymous blog saying bad things about the closeted person, that was enough for every one of them to be too scared to be around me, that they were next, that I was going to expose them next.
Yeah.
And-
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Die has gewissen jedem einem Screenshots. Hello. You lose the trust once, and then it's out.
They went 2 footsteps, and they told them they don't feel safe around me.
Yeah, it makes
And
sense.
another community. And those 2 communities, the other OTD community, was like, you need to break from this community. And I was like, so
You're OTD enough. You're already far in the biscuit. You're good, haben sie gesagt. Zij is hem schulen. She got kicked out from an OTD, huh? She went off the data from an off the data organization.
cancel. I also just left the community. I also need a
Right.
break.
No, but die has betrayed deine friends. Has geteen, has had gunische team mit OTD. You betray your friends. Why would they want to be around you? In oi bij net vragen, so how come they spoke behind their back? So hij is venting. Wenn man hat a group, so heißt venting. That's how it goes.
But that's what happens when a group of victims get together and they're very loud. I wasn't as loud. I was loud in other ways. I was living loud, spreading joy and comedy and whatever. I wasn't being a victim. Like, I don't feel safe, you know?
Right.
And by the way, if they're watching this, they're going to be like, how dare you manipulate that and say you don't feel safe? It wasn't safe. We were not safe for each other. So I own that. I completely own that. I don't want to push that away. I was not a safe person. I wasn't even being safe to myself. So that all blew up in my face. But I look back now and I'm like, I'm so grateful because I remember going to a bar with them.
You don't have a choice. You look, it's a part of our life.
And my friend Ruthie was there, you know her?
Yeah.
And she said something about Chabad giving her candles so she could light on Shabbos. And one of my friends at the time said, they just approached you on the train and just handed you candles. I consider that like rape. That's what she said. And I was shocked. And my friend Ruthie was there. And we were like, all of us, like, we were like, what? And the other girls were like, yes, why are they approaching us? It's like, your community hurt me. Get away from me. And I was like, oh, we're not the same. We're not the same. I don't feel that way about faith. I don't feel that way about Judaism. I don't. So it was things like that that made me realize I couldn't see it at the time. We should never have been friends. And then later on, many years later, I had it happen again with a new group of queer mom friends. And again, I got into a romantic relationship with one of them. When I say romantic...
Wie viele relationships hat sie? Oh my God. Sie redet, dass a conversation heißt a friendship, a relationship?
Relationship, it was so... I'm sorry, she's going to be so sad when I say this. It really didn't mean much to me. It was casual, it was barely physical.
So es ist nicht gewinnt kein relationship at all? Als schaust gerade a flink? Oder a one-night stand? Okay, zwei, beide Seiten von der Bett, but yeah.
I liked her as a person. I thought she was really sweet, and I wasn't looking for anything serious. I was dating other people,
Right.
whatever. And I kept saying that to her, and we were on, we were off, it was whatever. She became friends with my friends because I always introduced people, and again, alienated my friends from me for different reasons. Because once again, I was a bad person for different reasons. And what I've realized is, my mother thought I was a bad person. My brothers
I'm about to hit that topic right now.
my brothers thought
Jeder eine meint, dass sie ist bad, besides für ihr. Everybody. I kind of think somebody, I think now you should pick up like a mirror maybe. Be like, have you ever looked inside?
I was a bad person. There are people on the street that think I'm a bad person, and I'm not spending one more minute in my life trying to get people to like me. I have to like me. So I stand here as a 43-year-old woman saying I've made many, many mistakes. And if those mistakes were to rear its ugly head, I would have to stand in it. If my ex came and said, what did you do to my car and whatever, she's right. I have to stand in it. I did those things.
What did you do with her ex-car? Wie viel exes hat sie?
And that's okay. Doesn't mean that you have a right now to mistreat me. And if you feel that I shouldn't be in your life, fine. Why are we canceling people left and why are we being so vicious? I'm over it.
You have spoken a lot about your mom in many ways. By the end of the game, she brought you to this world.
I know.
How do you feel after she is already not with us?
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about having these years talking about her, bashing her on Instagram?
I feel terrible. I hope she forgives me. I think that when she died, that was really my breaking point. That was the beginning of the healing for me. I was able to gather the courage to leave my ex. I was able to finally stop enabling my child from addiction. I made a big career change.
First of all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for. Why did you shit talk her? What happened?
I was angry. What happened with my mom?
Yeah.
My mom sent me a text. That was the last conversation I ever had with her saying, we've made a decision. Tati and I no longer want you in our life. And after 120, you are forbidden from coming to our Levaya.
That's the funniest shit I've ever heard. Like, who asked you? You're dead. You're in the box. Die lost me nicht kommen zu der Levaya.
That's a
Wishing you
hard one.
luck.
Yiddish vibes. Hello and welcome. That's so funny. The Pro Speed. Hello and welcome. Come on, when I thought I was this for Kimi Shimalavaya, nobody's asking, yeah.
And if anything changes
You're dead. You're in the box.
in your life, reach out to me.
What did
That's what she said.
the part that you were gay?
And by the way, dort not sich schon gehoben the fight. Like, es ist nicht gegangen von ein Dienstag zu a message.
I still don't know. I'm saying
What
could
was
be I
the
was gay,
message
could be I
then?
wasn't religious.
It's both, I guess.
Yeah. I think at the same time, like I was outed and it was too much for her. It was too embarrassing.
So
She
after-
told me oftentimes that she needs to move to Lakewood because she can't stay in Borough Park
The beaches.
because it's too embarrassing. Yeah. So I think that I've learned, like I said, I've been on a journey. I have a huge rejection sensitivity wound. I'm terrified of being rejected. That's why I never hit on anyone because I'm so terrified they'll
Really?
turn me down. And it's really
Sie hit nicht auf keinem. Sie hat nicht aufgehört zu sagen, bei 20 Mal. Sie hat relationships mit Menschen, hin und zurück. Sounds like a lot of rejections to me.
weird because like
On one podcast, I'm not remember. On one podcast I spoke about it. I think on my first one, I had a podcast with Ellie Weber. I think I spoke about that. Fuck rejection. I don't
what
give
is
a
that?
fuck.
You hit on
I
people?
don't-
You just hit on people?
Hell yeah, I'll get a no. I'll get a no in a second.
You just
And
do
I'll
it.
walk away. I'll go to her friend right away. Hell yeah.
God.
Of
Here's
course.
the crazy part. It's like people are like, oh, Leia, like, you know, whatever. I'm like, I am terrified to hit on
I'm
someone.
shocked, by the way, because I see you different. I
Yeah,
didn't
like
know
my
that.
ex was like hot, you know, conventionally, and like when she approached me, and like people afterwards would make fun of us, like, oh, how much did you hit on her? She was so much younger than you. And I'm like, not only did I not hit on her, when she hit on me, I was like, get away from me. How crazy is that?
When did you start actually regretting the fact that you spoke about her?
I mean, it's a process. It wasn't like a moment. It
When
was
she
a bunch
died?
of little moments. No.
It didn't hit you
No.
immediately?
No way. When she died,
You were happy?
no, I was with my child.
Okay.
I turned
Okay, lass ihm reden. Lass ihr reden, sorry. Lass ihr reden. What are you doing?
to my child and I said, my mom just died. And she said, do you want to cancel our plans? And I said, no, we're going. I had booked a private helicopter experience for us. We were in Myrtle Beach.
So you didn't feel anything?
It was weird. My child was
by-
in active addiction and I was denying that to myself and my mother.
By the way, ze kennen zijn met een shock. I feel like einer was hat zijn lieb de mama, and de mama starbt, is men in shock.
Passed, and I also had a horrible relationship waiting for me at home. It was so much. It was so crazy. But I see my mother all the time. I feel her all the time, very, very strongly. I bought a house in Jersey and have a pool, and sometimes I put the tube
Oh. She has a Jersey house and a pool?
in the pool. My mother loved to swim, and I see it like moving around the pool.
No way.
Yeah, and
What kind of crackpot load of boo-boo was that? Ze zei, heb ze invoeren in de pool? Meinte ze mama? Come on.
I'm out to lay a bas mindel, and my mother was a legend. Unfortunately, my mother was a child of a Holocaust survivor and had a really hard time expressing anything. And also, I was too much for her. I was way beyond the small little bar park community.
I think it's amazing that you're able. I have it also in my personal life, very similar situations. But the fact that you're able to forgive for real, and I know, you know what means having a hard childhood with parents, with my father as well. But the fact that we open up and we talk, and you know, I also apologize to him because I also had my story with my father, and I'm not going to go into it. I'm not being interviewed now, but I can tell you that I also apologize to him for making him out. Like I spoke on him on Instagram and all over the place, and I'm not gonna lie, my father is also sick, and I feel very good that I did it, and I'm good terms with him, and I'm trying to finish, you know, in the best terms possible, wishing him, you know, Rafir Shalaima. I mean to say, at least from my side and from his side, and I never believed that it's ever gonna happen.
It's amazing.
I didn't believe because I felt I was so hurt, and that's why when you talk to me about this topic, I feel you. It's that
It's
easy.
harder because she's not alive. So there was extra anger after she died that she took away my ability to mourn her. So after my mother died, I reached out to my family right away. I wanted connection.
Shaya, jeder eine is cool. No, the question is, die guys darauf auf a podcast and die guys redden de wegen.
So badly. And back on the roller coaster I went. My father was like, my one and only daughter, I want you in my life. I'm so excited. And I was thrilled. And I thought that this would open up the doors with my siblings too.
That's what I wanted to ask.
But unfortunately, I wasn't aware that that was not the case.
How many siblings?
4.
You're in touch with
What does in touch mean? You know,
family group chat, maybe?
No, we don't even have that. But actually, I made one, and I actually asked them to please connect with me, and they, like, one of
They
them
don't want
left
to?
the chat. Yeah, this was years ago. So you know what happens when you beg and beg for someone's affection and attention, and they don't give it to you? You get angry,
Right.
and then you just think of all the reasons why you should be angry with them, and it's very, very, very sad. And I feel sorry, and I'm also sad that I spoke about my brothers. They're wonderful people. I get such positive regard.
How are they wonderful people when die bis gehen busy zijn rut zu bringen? I don't know. I don't know the story at all, so ich weiß nicht.
In business a lot too. And it's just hard for all of us. It's really hard. It's sad and it's hard. And again, the fact my mother died, I couldn't make it right. It leaves me with I have to accept things in this world that I'm never going to get. And that has to be okay.
So what other people you regret you spoke?
You know what? Honestly, it sucks because like my ex, I had put out a voice note
But jetzt gechanged? But das schein geedit, du.
where like she was really saying some not nice things. And I put it out with things saying,
Who is the ex? The eerste man, the zweite man? What's happening?
even though my ex and I moved on and I wish her nothing but the best, that time in my life was a real reminder for me to never allow myself to be with someone who treats me that way and talks to me that way. And, you know, I got threatened. Like, we're going to sue you for putting that out there or whatever it was. I don't regret it. I don't. Because there are people right now in relationships with people that are telling them, you're not allowed to be friends with this person if you want to stay with me. Or I'm not going to talk to you for the rest of the day and give you silent treatment. That's...
By the way, zoeken als ik ga niet redden met de ganzen Tag, is nicht silent treatment. Silent treatment is, wenn man redt nicht. Und man fängt zu fragen der andere Partner, hello, is alles okay? Und man redt nicht. No, everything is good. Das heißt silent treatment. And by the way, das ist eine von meinen nix, wenn sie kommt. Out the window. Silent treatment's the team for an Mammen.
abusive behavior. And I'm happy that I shared that. Same thing about
She didn't say she was married twice. Ich weiß nicht. Sie got a fiancé mit noch dem Chassene gehabt. I am not sure.
my parents. As much as I regret the things that I said, my father kicked me, punched me,
Oi, wei.
hit me with a strap, pushed me down the steps. My parents took my money from me. I can
Sad.
go on and on. My mother called me fat, said nobody would want to marry me, disinvited me from events. I can keep going on and on. I'm not saying this with anger, and I don't regret speaking about it. It's the reason why I am successful. because I've been rejected, because I've been hurt, I have what's called post-traumatic growth. And it's extra level resilient, top tier resilience that you can only get from being rejected.
Content that you have, and you have a lot of them.
Very powerful, but viel zu gut, dass sie abmorden von rejection.
I don't think Google is the place like you find it fast. Where's the best place to find more content about you in your life?
Instagram, that's where I live. I love Instagram. Instagram has been so good to me. It's the best platform.
This is where you got your most...
Yeah.
Frida Wiesel's interview was pretty funny, too.
I love her.
And
Frida's the bomb.
Talk to me.
I love Frida.
How was it?
When I met Frida, people also told me, like, oh, again, from the OTD community, mostly. Like, oh, Frida's, so right-wing. And, of course, I met her and loved her. And I'm realizing, like, more and more. And 2019 was my rude awakening on the whole woke movement. And that's when I really woke. When my mom died and I had to take a hard look at my life and all the lies I was telling and all the lies I was living and all the crap that I was doing, that's when I realized, like, I'm not wokey. I'm not. I'm really awake. I'm awake. And I awoke into Judaism in a much deeper way. Ooh. And also, like, into who I am as a person. I dated men before I met my person that I'm with right now because I wanted to experience life to the fullest and see what I am and who I am. And I can, so.
Wow. Let's talk about Abby Stein. What happened recently on Instagram?
It's so sad. And unfortunately, it was bound to happen. Somebody had to do it. So, again, ich bin gewähnt, nachschen ben am Ende. So basically, I keep getting messages from tons and tons of people and organizations and tons of DMs. And wherever I go, people are associating me as like the rabbis for ceasefire and the as a Jew kind of Jews, And at some point, I'm like, if I don't say anything, I really don't respect myself. I don't at this point because by not saying something, I'm allowing people to believe certain things about me. So I wanted to go on record and be like, look, if you think this is where I lie, I don't. And see yourself out. Like, if we're not on the same page and you believe in, in those things, then by all means, like,
and what things?
don't
I'm not clear what you...
The Rabbis for Ceasefire was a big one. That movement really drove me nuts. And then, aligning myself...
What is the subject of Rabbi for Ceasefire? What is it about?
It's a group of Jewish rabbis that, and again, rabbi is a very loose term. We come from the Hasidic community. Anyone could call themselves a rabbi.
Right.
Doesn't mean they have smicha.
Right.
Here's some tea. The whole entire thing with Abby Stein really started with my girlfriend. She got so mad that they said that she's a rabbi. Because my girlfriend grew up Reform. And to her, if somebody's a rabbi and she's a doctor. So for her, if someone says they're a rabbi, it means something. You know what I mean? They're like legitimate. And if someone says they're a doctor, it's something. So anyone can call themselves a rabbi.
1 second, she was upset.
That Abby Stein is called rabbi. She's like, she doesn't have smicha. I'm like, that's the issue. Who gives a shit about that?
Right,
But that's how it started. But then I was like, something? No. Like, I need to be very clear. The reason why I said those things about Abby is because people should know that the reason why, and again, this is my belief, it's only my opinion. The reason why Abby is so strongly aligned with that side is because that is the side that is giving Abby attention. And that is the side
Which side is that?
Not my side. Not my side. And again, I'm very curious to hear your interview. I can't wait for it to come out. Of course, I know Abby doesn't want Jews, to perish. And I know she believes in everyone's in freedom and
How do you know that?
peace for everyone. I know that. And also she has done some really, really frightening things that at this point in my life, I want to be very clear that I don't associate with Abby. I don't sit at the same table as a terrorist.
So it's politically also like
as a terrorist supporter. Get
Political.
partial.
Nothing political. Zero political. I hate politics. This has everything to do with me being a Jew. Everything to do with me being a Jew. She has sat at the table with terrorist supporters. That's my Judaism. It has nothing to do with politics.
Yeah, look, by the interview that came out last week at this time, while I'm saying it's probably in a month from now, I don't know when, but I disagree with Abby, I would say 60-70% on her opinions. But I let her talk. That's why she has a mic and she's able to say her side. I mean, if people want to hate, they're going to hate. And it is what it is. I told her I disagree. And I understand this part, and sometimes it bothers. You can't hear, like, when you see somebody sits with terrorists or with Hamas supporters or whatever. But you're going to be shocked, I think, after the interview. Because
Maybe, but I want to go on record. It does not bother me. She should sit at the table with whoever she wants. Abby's on Abby's journey.
No, I don't know, but I didn't talk about this.
But let it go on record. Abby's on Abby's journey. Abby's going on her experience. I am not friends with Abby Stein. I wish Abby nothing but the best. And I know that Abby's a good person. I don't want to be friends with her.
Do you think you're ever going to be back friends with her?
Who knows? Life, anything's possible. I never say never.
Okay.
Why not? She's not a terrible person. Like I said, right now where she is in the
What do you mean she's sitting with terrorists? How much not terriblier can you get?
world, I don't want to associate with her.
So when is your new book coming out? Let's talk about it.
Well, I can't talk about my new book, but I could
Why?
say that I had a call with a TV producer this morning, and I will be on everyone's screen on one of the biggest networks in this country.
Oh, that's an announcement.
That is a big announcement.
Okay.
And I'm doing it.
Can I hear a little bit
I
more?
want to do it.
Oh, you're not allowed to.
I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to, but let me tell you
Something big is
something.
coming?
It's my biggest dream come true because there's one thing that I love more than anything, and that is yentening. I love a good yenta. Now, obviously, the Jewish value is we don't like lashon hara, so I used to be a cruel gossiper. Like, I would gossip in ways that would hurt people, but I'm now only yentening on celebrities and things like that. One of my favorite things is reality shows. They're my guilty pleasure. So I'm finally getting to do something.
I'm very excited
I
for
wanna
you.
do it.
Good luck on that one. And another topic that I wanted to talk to you, which was also all over the place, and I want to hear a little bit more on your ex, Leah Soko.
Oh, God.
What's going on with this one?
What do you want to know?
I know so many. So number one, I know that you were basically talking already like that you guys broke up and stuff like that, and she was still posting pictures that you guys are in love, and it was like a confusion going on Instagram because you were basically
This is meer as a personal story. Gewoon, ik ga aan was a guy do voor.
posting single and I don't know if shit talking, I don't remember, but and she was posting. What was the politic there? What happened?
Oy, okay. For those that really want to know the gossip
A
of
lot.
what happened with me and my
Trust
ex.
me, this
Okay,
ex
oh
topic,
my
people.
Nog een ex? Zou zoveel exes doen? Shee.
God, okay.
Okay.
All right. So I
Okay.
had just left the community. Like, and when I say left, I don't mean I even left. I was kicked out, right?
I think she has to have like pictures on the wall with a stick and be like, okay, we're talking about this person. Now we're talking about that person.
So I was still Jewishly married to my husband. Okay. So I did not have a get yet. And we were, and that's when I met my
Leah.
ex. I met her. I met her at a party called Jewish Eve.
I know
She
her.
came over to me. She's,
Do I know her? Or you
Leah?
don't remember?
I feel like you know her. Do you know her?
I don't know. I want to see a picture.
I'll show you.
Okay.
So she came over to me at an event, at a Jewish Eve event. And she has these beautiful eyes. And she said, "Can I dance with you?" By the way, I now found out she was on a date with someone else. Yeah.
That's okay. Maybe I use the noise.
Wait, it gets better. It gets better. Okay. She also, in addition to being on a date with someone else, she was actually there to meet another girl.
That's
Now-
So confusing. Ze gewend dat nog wat date. So she was there to meet some other girl and she was dancing with her. Hello.
okay.
Nope.
I can handle this
Not
kind of stuff. Okay.
Because wait, this girl that she was on the way to meet had a full ass girlfriend. Okay, we're gonna call
Oh, wow. Jenner hat noch hoch der ganze Phew, am Masel ich kenne ich werden kann lesbian. Phew.
her Shoshana. Shoshana had a full
I'm dodging. Hey, sinds alle dodgen meer do bullets.
girlfriend. Shoshana's girlfriend and I were very
I
close.
have to like, also wie Sally sagt, I gotta buckle up. Ich darf my pen, paper, list. Mit wem hat sie gecheat, wer die gefahren, wer die gekommen, zu wem hat man geredet, wie halt man do. Phew.
Shoshana's girlfriend messaged me and said, "Hey, there's a Jewish Eve event coming up. Can you keep an eye on my girlfriend?" So I picked up Shoshana and we went together to this party. Shoshana was there to meet Leah and was chatting with her online. And in fact, they were like
By the way, Sally, before people were asking that the diagnosis, you have a few hours about me. Oi vai.
texting and even
It's like being married to a therapist.
sexting, sending each other like shower pictures and whatever. So
What?
Leah
Hold on.
Shoshana and we went together to this party. Shoshana was there to meet Leah and was chatting with her online. And in fact, they were like texting and even sexting, sending each other like shower pictures and whatever. So Leah
Ich bin das so verloren. Like, du kennst die Verlorenheit, wie man kommt the search party trefft dich und sagst, no, I still have a few hours to be lost.
was there that night to meet Shoshana
Yeah,
and
good.
another girl. Let's also call her Shoshana.
No, you're getting confused.
Well, that's the point. The point is I want you to stay confused, but the point is that it's different girls. She went to meet a
The point is he wants you to be confused. All right.
Lindsay.
Wat je achieved. We can ending the podcast.
She went to meet a Yachani. She did not come meet me. I went with friends. And mid-dance,
Gewoon gemeint, dat sie darf watschen einem.
she came over to me and she introduced herself and started dancing with me. I said, how
Hij zag me, man zei dat zweiten, vraagt me, wow, ich kann nicht wusste complainen. Life is pretty awesome. Hello.
old are you? She said, 21. I said, bye. And
Really?
I walked back to my friends. I'm way older than her. I didn't want that. But she's persistent and beautiful. And I told her I'll only be her friend. I will only be her friend. I will not get into a relationship
Baila no más. Baila no más.
with her. But let's be honest, I was newly out of my marriage. I was so broken. I was like, and this beautiful girl was like paying attention to me. On top of that, she introduced me to her mother, her family, her sisters.
When?
Like pretty early on, a few months in. So I had all these new family members and they were so loving to me. And they were so good to me. It was like my wildest dream come true. A pretty girl, a great family. She was in college. She had a full-time job. And then, unfortunately, like she was struggling with mental health, lost her job, whatever. It was like stopped working, wanted to go back to school, did this, did that, and we got into a relationship. When we were in a relationship, I told her I do not want to get married. I do not want to get married. She said, I will never be happy if I don't have a ring on my finger. And me being the people pleaser that I was, I put a ring on her finger because I wanted her to be happy. And I cared about her.
You were
I thought-
engaged?
Yeah, we got engaged. She planned our proposal. She sent me the ring she wanted. I flew her somewhere to another country. I hired a photographer. I told her to go get her makeup done. I hired a musician, and I did the proposal like the way she wanted it. She needed it to be photographed. She even had Tanis on me that I didn't have her friends there because she wanted to be in front of her friends. And I said, I'm private. I don't want my relationship, this vulnerable moment where I'm telling someone I love them and I want to be with them, to be publicized. It's private. But that's what she wanted, and I loved her, so I did it. So that's the relationship with my ex. It was not a good relationship. I can go into details of what levels it wasn't a good relationship, but let's just say.
No, but I'm asking the question, why was
Oh, why was it?
she
Okay.
posting
I'll tell
while you're posting
so
something
before
else?
we broke up, like lesbians do, we broke up 5,000 times. Every Montag and Donnerstag, we're like, we're done, we're together, we're not together.
Not a
She take off
healthy
the ring,
relationship.
she
It
put on
sounds-
the ring. It was every 5 minutes, but it was the only thing I knew. Again, I'd never been in a healthier relationship than that. So, and she was a woman. So I was like, oh, and her family was so good to me. Like, I cannot even tell you. They were like, And it was just magical. I mean, I felt like I belonged somewhere. You know, they were good to my child. It was like we built something together. But like I said, I started to notice like different things, you know, and the way she was talking to me and blah, blah, blah. And honestly, she was going through so much of her own garbage. Her grandmother died in a horrible accident. Who raised her, the woman who raised her, she was horribly abused. You know, her father left her when she was young. Poor, she went through so much of her own challenges. Like, we were both really, really
Wow. Phew. Viel wie ich darf als 2 Wochen Vacation. Oh, shit.
broken. We should not have been together. So the last time she said she would leave, and when she would leave,
Ich meine, da war schon noch dem the push-up shot one mit der ADHD or something.
she would pack up everything down to the last budgie. Okay?
Budgie was important.
Everything. And every time she would leave in therapy, I was in therapy at the time, and I was working on myself. I was like, I'm not taking her back. I'm not taking her back. So the last time when she said she's leaving, she ripped off all the pictures from the walls and everything. I was like, bye, go. And a few days later, when she reached out to me and wanted me back, I said no. And she was shocked. So we still hung out for a bit as friends, but we never hooked up
Sadly. Go hug your wife. Tell him you love them.
again. And we never, and lesbians, by the way, do for that. And it was a very
Ich meine, it says almost done. It's almost
Slow.
done. Phew.
until
Brooklyn, ich meine, sag mir wie music. Ich meine, silent music for that show.
she said to me,
I'm joking.
I need a
But I'm really not joking. But yeah. all
break from you because I feel like I'm too attached. I was already dating other people. I was moving on, and I 100% was not being with her.
Already dating? Jetzt hat gerissen the pictures in the Wand. Already dating somebody else.
She thought she was going to be with me, but I told her.
That's why she posted?
Yeah, for sure. I was like, I'm not being with you. And she was like, we're going to be together. Are you going to give me chances? We were done. There was no going back. And after those month where we weren't talking,
I guess she wasn't that bad that she didn't switch back to the men team. Hershey King. Hello and welcome.
she messaged me and said, I want to take you out for lunch. I want to talk to you. We went out for lunch. She said, I would like an opportunity to, I worked on myself. I want it better. I said, I will never be with you. At the table, her whole demeanor changed.
Scratching blackboard would be relaxing. Finny, it would be so good to our ears. We'll be like, oh, we have to play it again.
Within a minute, I went from being, you're the most amazing person I want to spend my life with, to, you're a liar. You never loved me. You know.
Okay, so sie gedate a kranke Frau. What can I say? Jeez.
And that was the last time I ever saw her in person. And that was like many, years ago. So that was the scandal. The scandal was. Now, I was hired
What was the scandal? I really don't know what the scandal was.
to perform at the Chosen Comedy Festival in front of 5,000 people.
Good for you.
And about 5 minutes before I got on stage, somebody, a fan, walked over to me with a phone and said, oh my God, your ex just got engaged. And showed me a picture.
Wow.
And the picture was her with my
Ex.
former student, who was my
With her okay. So in Meidel's situation, bye.
friend.
Right.
You know. And then I had to get up on stage and perform. That was like
Oof.
a moment. And it wasn't that I was not happy. I was so happy she moved on. I was happy she found someone. But I promise you, I felt sorry for my student. I felt sorry for my student because my initial reaction was,
Strong.
it took her so long to get me to get her a ring. We were together for a couple of years when I gave her the ring.
But 1 second, why do you feel
And
so
she
bad?
managed so quickly after 6
Nach ich vreeg van was. Ich feel bad for jedem in them situation.
months to get the girl to propose to her. Like, wow. By the way, they're not together anymore. The girl
Whew. The schnellste 15 seconds I've ever had in my life here. Hold on.
But I promise you, I felt sorry for my student. I felt sorry for my student because my initial reaction was,
Strong.
it took her so long to get me to get her a ring. We were together for a couple of years when I gave her the ring.
But 1 second, why do you feel
And
so
she
bad?
managed so quickly after 6 months to get the girl to propose to her. Like, wow. By the way, they're not together anymore. The girl
Oh,
left
really?
her. The day after the girl left her, my ex called me.
I think I should interview Leah.
By the way, you should. My ex called me, and you know what's so disgusting? I'm so mad at myself, okay? I don't care if this goes on record. I'm two flying flips.
Ze is ook door.
I really don't. I don't give a rat's tuchus.
Die
A
had
day
sterker dat
after,
te doen.
a day after Malky left her, a day after my ex left her, she called me, and
A day after her ex left her. Okay.
of course, I always want to be the good guy. And in her story, I'm the bad guy. I did horrible things to her. And
So du hast auch hers in a lesbian relationship, I guess, huh? Sie nicht woke enough, so sollten nicht they them.
by the way, I did do plenty of horrible things to her. I was not good to her the whole beginning of our relationship because every time she would argue with me, I would say, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. So that's not a great foundation for a good relationship. On top of that, I was dishonest with her. I was making a lot of money, but I was spending a lot of money. Not honest with her about, I didn't have to be. She wasn't contributing anything, but I wasn't honest with her. And a lot of other things. And it took me a long time. I had to correct things that I did with her too. I want to say that if you do interview her, I've done some pretty crapo things. Like, keep in mind, like my family had alienated me. My kid was going through addiction.
Yeah,
That's a
your
lot.
own life
Yeah,
story.
like I was treating myself terribly. You can imagine I was trying. I was really trying, but I was not.
Ich feel wie Nachi kenne ihr ein bisschen. So, sie macht ein bisschen mehr Sense. Weil Nachi ist in jener Leben. But I could be just projecting or thinking.
Our relationship was not a good one. So she reached out to me the day after Malki left her, and she said to me that she wants to meet with me in the place where she lives. And her Malki lives there too. And I asked her, what if Malki's there? She's gonna be so hurt that I can't control, like that's not my problem anymore. She broke up with me. It was then that I realized that what she wanted to do was triangulate. She wanted me to be there.
Obviously.
So Malki should walk in and Malki should get upset.
Right.
And I was like, no. So I quickly sent her this long voice note. I could show it to you. Or I was like, Leia, you're amazing, you're wonderful. No, that was a mistake. I'm not coming to meet you. I'm never coming to meet you. I'm happy. My life is good. I only wanted to be in connection with you so that you finally see me as the good one, you know, so that I have a chance to make it right. And then I realized I don't give a shit if I make it right. Like,
Overall experience, you're 43 years old with the community, good or bad?
the Heimish community, 10 out of 10.
Really? So you like the community?
Love 'em.
You're not upset?
Phew. I don't think I believe that, but ich verstehe, was sie meint zu sagen. Noch ihr ganze Trauma, sie kehrt schon nicht, und dort ist ihr Geld, und sie weiß, dass she's anyways making her money. She doesn't care.
No way. I'm upset with myself.
No,
Only
you're not
person-
upset that they banned you?
It's a community. If you don't fit into the standards, you don't belong in the community. It's not
understand?
rocket science. Yeah. Like when people were like, you should sue the school for firing you, you know, when they found out that you're lesbian. Why? I was teaching in an all girls.
Yeah, why? Because jetzt ob sie sich ausgetein nacket in herangebringt the discussion. Who cares what she's doing at home?
Very frum girls' high school.
You understand that?
Like, how could they have an openly lesbian teacher? It doesn't make sense. I'm not trying to change their community
I don't think she was open. Didn't she say she was not open then? She was shocked even?
at all. You know, I just want to live my
Wow.
best life. I want to live my life. Don't come for me.
I also
have
saw
my-
it like that. I didn't know. Very nice.
I'm not recruiting.
Right.
I'm not nothing. And that's by the way, even when I got engaged to Leia and people were like, why did you have to shove it? I didn't post anything on social media. I never posted my relationship with Leia on social media. You know when I posted my relationship on social media? After somebody came to our wedding. We were never legally married. Chazdei Hashem. She wanted. Woo! She wanted kids. Could you imagine? Aboined on the killer.
You want kids more?
I know quite a few lesbians, by the way, that popped out a few kids with toxic rebound relationships. Hashtag Dr. Sarah Glass.
Leia, you still want a few kids?
I wouldn't mind. Yeah.
How many?
As many as Hashem gives me. I'll lie.
That's a non-answer answer.
I'm ready. Like
You're not religious though, right?
a
Man hat nicht gefragt, wie viel Gott will dir geben. Man hat gefragt, wie viel die willst.
child would come out of love now and happiness and joy. Am I religious? What does religious mean? We'd have to go down a rabbit hole.
No, I don't think I'm going to go into it.
Okay,
I don't think it's
consider
it's
myself
interesting.
religious.
You consider yourself religious.
Yes.
Good.
Hey, mit der handige Gevre, jeder einer nimmt Religion und man dreht es herin. Man fit es heran in seiner eigenen Shape. Ich habe so getroffen, ich habe so
Keep
gemacht.
Shabbat?
Yeah. So that's why
Really?
I'm like, so what does keeping Shabbos
shocked.
mean? So that's why I
Ah,
said when you go into
exactly.
it, you want to get into
Okay,
it, let's get into
short
it.
and sweet.
I am religious. Are you going to ask me if I
You
keep
keep Shabbat?
Shabbos perfectly every single time, every single week? I would not say that I'm a saint and I would not say that I'm an angel. I would say that my entire life is based in Yiddishkeit. My Shabbos is Shabbos, meaning there were times where I didn't. I would travel and whatever, and live my best life and drive places and whatever. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. Shabbos to me is about not rolling over and watching TV. It's about waking up and going to shul because I don't have little kids. So I don't have to be home taking care of little kids. I can get up.
Sie ist, I guess, the man in the relationship, weil sie geht in Schiel.
And I can go daven and I can read the Torah and read about my parsha and
Ich wammt für die Sachen.
more. Shabbos to me is about not rolling over and watching TV. It's about waking up and going to shul because I don't have little kids. So I don't have to be home taking care of little kids. I can get up and I can go daven and I can read the Torah and read about my parsha and stay for Kiddush and we have Shabbat dinner and I light candles and I daven and I give tzedakah and I try to be modest. I know I don't wear a skirt, you know, but
It's music, though.
yeah, and I'm like, and by whose standards? I don't really give, like I said, I don't give a rat's tuchis. Who considers me religious and who doesn't consider me religious? I consider myself a faithful, God-loving Jew who loves Judaism and I'm in love with Hashem. That's where I am.
Leia, we love you too.
I want to talk about business. This is really, really important. I'm super impressed with how you run business. I love that that you have that mind. I'm also like a businesswoman. A lot of people don't know that about me. They think I just do comedy and I want to go on record. Comedy is like 20% of my life.
Really?
No, she doesn't need gefilte fish. She hates gefilte fish, she says.
I have a massive career that has nothing to do with this. I'm the CEO of a company called The Corporate Minute. We build and upscale businesses from scratch, and majority of my clients are Heimish guys.
No way.
Yes. I'm in the healthcare and home care space, so we do everything from lobbying to credentialing to hiring, training,
Good stuff.
staffing, operations, business development. And the reason why I'm mentioning it is because for those of you out there that are thinking you just have to be this or you just have to be that,
I thought she's a lesbian. You're doing it.
multiple streams of income everywhere you can. Because there are some months in business that are phenomenal, and there are some months where I get to, do 5-6 gigs that I choose, and that's a great month. So the fact
Yeah, but you're putting away, hast du schon ausgelernt, da wegzulegen, oder die spends noch alles aus?
that I do have multiple streams of income, including publishing the book, including being on stage, including
Book is
running.
making you money?
No, the book isn't about making. For me, at least, it's not about making money. The book was a passion project, and I'm grateful that I did it. I love it, and I love writing. So
I think I'm gonna have to read the book.
you have to, by the way, it's crazy. And then, okay, so crypto, you're into crypto. Can you, my audience is going to tune in and listen to you also. So you said you're working on something for our community.
Not opening it. Still not ready.
Okay.
I thought it was gonna be faster, but it was still not there. But we have something in crypto coming up.
Okay.
But let me.
Oh, man geht darf mal so watschen wegen Krypto. Oh my God. Man meint, dass jeder eine ist so innocent. Sie geht sein, als echer Rockpool. Wow. Man darf watschen. Whoever is coming out, buyer beware. I'm just saying.
About your, let me hear
well,
about your.
my partner's a huge crypto
Crypto's
fan and
now
has
down.
yeah, but that's
AF.
okay.
By the time the podcast is on, it's probably
Exactly.
gonna be up already.
We
So whoever
also-
invested today, 100K might be 20,000. Whatever.
Well, my girlfriend and I have a joke. We say,
pa.
did crypto take a dip? That's what we call it. But I even made her
En zo'n definitely watchen. Whoever geht herausgeben my coin. Meint, a Jid nicht machen. Ich so denk, das hat sein, a Rockpool. Take that to the bank. Oder nicht alle rauskicken wie Nancy Pelosi gesagt. He won't be president. Take that to the bank. But, yeah.
t-shirt that says crypto bro. She actually started an investment company.
Is he doing a meme coin? I think so.
And yes, it is taking a dip, but if you're following and you're actually following the trends, as someone in business, I can spend a few $100,000s to open an upscale business, which I may see, best case scenario, 2x in 3 years versus locking up something for 18 months and in crypto and watching my money while I'm vacationing and doing 1,000 other things.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm starting to see the value.
A lot
in
of
it.
people lost money in crypto too. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it.
I know that the world is
Okay, come gehört. If you guys don't know what you're doing, don't do it. Please.
very focused on emotional health and how important it is to be emotionally healthy. Also, when you're dating somebody,
This is teure Kleider. I guess he macht das auch Geld. I guess, you know.
check in on their financial health. Just check in on their relationship with money.
You wouldn't date a broke girl?
No.
Broke girl. I said it a little
Yeah,
bit too
like, when you
strong.
say, like, be specific.
Yeah, I mean, like a girl that works a normal job, 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's
and-
not broke. Excuse me, a 9 to 5 job is
I
very
didn't mean that. I
respectable.
didn't mean, okay, so
She makes
broke
50K.
means that you don't work
You're
and you
asking
don't
me
make
if
money.
she makes 50, 60K a year. Would
Yeah.
I date don't care at all. I don't need somebody's money. But I do want to date someone who has their own life going on and be, and have their own, like, I'm in a relationship. I'm in a very happy relationship, committed relationship. My partner.
Want to talk about her?
Yeah.
Who's that? Guys, look at the I need the editor to put some...
Okay. The reason why I'm like so skeptical of talking about my relationship is because, as we know, I've been very
A nieuwe relationship? Wow. Hold on.
I need the editor to put some...
Okay.
Whoa.
The reason why I'm like so skeptical of talking about my relationship is because, as we know, I've been very public about my relationship, and it's so scary. Like, what if it doesn't work out? And obviously,
It's
I live-
okay. We all break
yeah, it's
up
like,
here
I
and
live
there.
my life.
Thank you, Sally. Appreciate it. Oh my God. Noch einmal in a relationship.
Like thinking the next shoe is
Ich meine, als wenn sie fuhr durch einem auf der Highway und sie sieht einem als acute Mädel an der andere Seite, it's a relationship.
falling. Like even now, I'm like I'm having a moment and I'm getting offers and things are great now. But I'm like I'm sure there
I
are
have no idea numbers. It's crazy.
people in my past that are angry and wanna whatever. And who knows? Like
Leia,
what's
you're
coming.
so emotional. You're so cute.
so
You're so
I wanna tell you about my
emotional, for
girlfriend.
real.
So I manifested this woman.
Nachi is fine, by the way. Nachi is fine. I gotta give him that.
Manifested her.
Jacob. Hello and welcome.
I really did. I told myself
She sounds like such a narcissist.
I'm gonna have a partner like her, and I just did. And I dated around a ton, and I had a lot of fun. I did not have sex, but I did everything else, and I
Leia,
experienced and
you're
explored.
100% lesbian?
No, absolutely.
You're 100% lesbian? No, she's 20% polyester.
Had a lot of fun. I did not have sex, but I did everything else, and I
Leia,
experienced and
you're
explored.
100% lesbian?
No, absolutely not.
So you missed dick here and there? Sorry for the...
First of all, you can have without having a man. For the record, it's 2025.
It's not real, though.
Funniest 2 seconds.
Had a lot of fun. I did not have sex, but I did everything else, and
Come
I
on.
Leia,
experienced and
you're
explored.
100% lesbian?
No, absolutely not.
Can you imagine? She's there, it's going, nope, I'm gerade 74.3% lesbian, and the rest is semi-dry.
So you missed dick here and there? Sorry for the...
First of all, you can have without having a man. For the record, it's 2025.
it's not real,
Morgan
though.
Gaylor-
It's not real.
Ja, maar gewijs, wer dacht echt de zaak. The real one is shiz. It's attached to all that. You can have a fake one, and it's way
Star in the cap. Hello and welcome.
better. No, all jokes aside, I'm not.
The reason for which ich schreibe, why I write, it's not financial advice. Weil morgen, wenn ich darf schreiben, it's not financial advice, ich weiß nicht, wie man spellt, so ich lasse es über. It's easier für mir. Genige, wo ich plug mich mit dem Tag.
Anything, okay? I'm attracted to people. And it's not even a looks thing. I like personalities.
So you're bi?
I'm everything.
Bi?
Everything and nothing.
Bisexual?
But no, that's
He's bi.
the problem. That's another label. That's another
You don't like
label.
a label?
No, it's like politics. I'm nothing. I'm not Democrat. I'm
But
not
you can-
Republican. I'm not
I can't
liberal.
be attracted to a guy.
Right.
Period.
Okay, so I
That's-
can.
Okay, so it's
I
bi.
can.
Well, hold on. He's not attracted to a guy?
I'm not Democrat. I'm
But
not
if you
Republican. I'm not
I
liberal.
can't be attracted to a guy.
What do you mean you can't? Nachi. The question is, Ezuk has initial attracted to a guy. Oiber is 20% attracted to a guy. Would he say it? Would he admit to it? Or he would say 100% he's not? En ook, dat zag man zegt met vrouwen, was kicken aus wie de Brieder. Is that not the same?
Right.
Period.
Okay, so I can.
Okay, so it's
I
bi.
can.
Sexual, and you're sexual,
Got it,
you're
got it.
bisexual.
I can absolutely be attracted to men and women and whatever, everything in between. It doesn't matter. You have to be a person. And also, when I say I manifested my partner, my partner, I hate the word partner and girlfriend and all that.
My girlfriend, let's go.
My lover.
That is what it is. You love her?
Lover. I'm going to say lover because it makes people uncomfortable. She's my lover. I manifested her. I manifested somebody. My most important quality to me
Whew. Manifest.
was somebody who's on a spiritually higher level than me. She's on a spiritually higher level than me. To the point where I came home last week, you know what I'm going through, and I like collapsed. And I was like,
Sel, ich weiß nicht gut nicht von Kleider. Wenn ich kicke und ich sehe Kleider, sehe ich just Kleider. Nur ob ich weiß, dass teuer, kicke ich so wie ich Monasen.
I'm really angry at Hashem. Like, I'm really angry. And
Oh.
she's like, that's not Emunah. Where's your Emunah? I'm disappointed in you. And that was sexy. That was so hot. So hot. Because let me tell you something. As you get
Das will ich ist dann ein bisschen cringy gewesen.
older, I'm in my 40s. Like, I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm not in my 30s anymore. I'm not hanging out in the club.
Oh, manifesting, huh? She's lesbian, but she was manifesting. Good one, Sally.
I'm not partying. I'm not hooking up with people. I'm not doing drugs. I'm not drinking. I'm partying in other ways that are meaningful to me. Doing fun things with my friends, exploring new things. And you want a best friend. She is my freaking best friend. I never
I
had
think
that.
that's a real.
Ich fühle, wie sie geht an Part 2 in 2-3 geduschen mit ihm. Oh, she's my best friend. No longer. I'm already dating her friend's cousin.
She's my best friend that I also think is so hot.
How do you manifest a few $1 billion? I have no idea, Jacob. And that if you findest those, let me know.
It's wild. And she's amazing. And she's spiritually incredible. And she's a surfer. And she does crypto. And she's a neurologist.
Ah, woo, woo, wow, woo.
And brilliant and talented and has her own life. And I can say, I live in Jersey. We don't live together. When I'm here in the city, I'm with her. But I can say to her, like, I need a few days. I'm feeling overwhelmed and whatever. And she'll be like, enjoy and give me a huge hug and be like, bye.
Wow,
Live your
she's
best.
able to understand you.
Yeah, and she like lets me be and she celebrates me and I adore her and I respect her and oh my
I have so much respect for opening today so much.
and she's hot. Hot.
Don't tell that to Nachi. I appreciate so much that you open up to me like that.
That was funny, Nachi. Good one. Good one, Nachi.
And it was really impressive to see you like that. I did not expect you to be so.
All right, this is schon the end results, though. Okay, overall, a sach relationships. Overall, a sach going on. Phew. But ich bin happy, as ich kommt heraus, sagen ihre pains und Sachen. Well, people connect. Man kann keinem nicht wissen, wie viel gay und lesbian Gevre wollten jetzt sich nicht mehr durchs Leben, aber sie hat gesaved. So, you could learn from other people's pain. For that reason, I gave my like the video. Red nicht von like. Oh, ich bin number 333. Liked of the video. Sure, als ich red von like, ich habe like the video, die watched jetzt. Helped mich heraus in the channel tremendously. All right, it wasn't bad. Man, 14 relationships, pain. All right, we're done with that. I guess Ellie sind wir warten morgen. Wieso heißt der? Izzy hat mir geschickt ein Video. Jetzt gehen wir finishen mit dem Video. Mit Izzys letzte Video. 17 Schuhe zurück, 171,000 views. It was very bad. Oi wei. Oh, I think we need it. I think we need to take like a breather, like a 5-second breather or something. Whew. It was kind of heavy. I'm not gonna lie. It was heavy. Maar we dachten machen a Wim Hof ganze group therapy. Biggie, play Biggie, group therapy. Commenting now. Geet. This was the wrong video for now. Listen, we had to get through it. We did it as a community. So we gedacht mithalten. But the bright part is, it's sind wir done. Sind wir done mit das. In der Sache kann man sehen, jenems twisted, jenems problems, macht dich, kann mehr enjoy in down life. Let's put it that way. Yeah? Kalmis Videos nicht jetzt Sache, das die morgen in der Früh. Geval wie sagte, Cold plunge is available for those who need it. Good. You don't like Israeli music? Oh, I don't mind Israeli music. The Weber video is definitely more meaningful for life. Listen, es sind zwei andere Menschen, zwei andere Sachen. Nachman! Hello and welcome. Scheint dir zu sehen, Nachman Taub. How you doing? Welcome to the live. Laten we zien die video. Zum jetzt gesehen, I guess, a reenactment von Leah Foster's childhood. It's been a while, yes, it's been a minute. Nachman, how are you?
אני מחפשת איש פשוט, עושה סיבוב בשוק, לב טוב ושומר כשרות.
Ich feel es also wie the Russian sogar. The Mexican advertisements. Alles is about sehr sexualized. Das der macht es.
זה מה שחשוב, שיהיה לו כסף כי זה לא כללה, איש קליל, גר קלאב, גבר שאפשר לסמוך עליו, בעל בלי קולה, מחלקת נקוד.
By the way, this is von Izzy. Izzy hat das geschickt. Früher Brooklyn gesucht etwas also von Visa heißt das, von Izzy. Weil ich habe das herangeedit. Schein.
אמא טוב עם אמא שלו, לא חושב מהכיפה שלו, יהודי כשר ברוך השם.
So definitely the low Visa heißt das. Zach! Hello and welcome.
איש רגיש מתחשב.
I'm not pulling anything. Izzy hat das geschickt.
עשה כסף פפרוני על הפיצה, אם הוא מנצח אותי בפיפה, מפשל לי שישי לקידוש. אני לא צריכה הרבה, יש פשוט בקיצור. רשימת קנייה, ביצים, חלה, הוא יקודש אני אפריש חלה, שישי, שבת.
The music most probably ausheren in mijn kaart en niet zijn de music video. Wat er gezag meer enjoyed.
זה אחד לרשימת קנייה, קצת חריף, הוא הג'ונס. בסוף השימו יוצא לי שטטתי, שישי, שבת. אני מחפשת איש פשוט.
This is kind of disturbing. But the art is definitely Dorten. I'll give it for the art. Oh, hold on. Red me them. Hello.
של טיל כתף קחי את הסטפס, תמי את הפה שלך, קני מגב דליק ומטאטה אם את פרחה, עשי מופלטה אם את נסתה, עשי קפה ממי מה סופרת לי נקודות? לא שתיים נשמע בקבון לי ידידות? לא שתיים כל החבר'ה שלי יוצאים למסיבות? לא שתיים אבל אני יותר בחוש של ישיבות? לא שתיים אני גבר מפנק? לא שתיים מכבד? לא שתיים מכבס, מבשל, משלם? לא שתיים
Sounds like it's meant for kids. Wenn die so das aussehen und im Music Video, wollt ihr gehen Sache bessere Video.
תעשי עליי הסכם, הגבר שיפול עלייך איש מסכן
ביצים, חלה, הוא יקודש אני אפריש חלה.
Izzy, wo ist der Nigen? Wo ist die Idee von der Nigen?
שישי, שבת. עוד אחד לרשימת קנייה, קצת חריף, הוא הג'ונס. בסוף השימו יוצא לי שטטתי, שישי, שבת. אני מחפשת איש פשוט. יד השמיים עד המון ועדיי ממי תפנק תפזר רק עליי שופינג במילאנו ונופש בצ'אנג מאי קורא לי יקירתי אני קורא גם הרשאי
Wo ist mit der Nägel? How do you get around life mit der Sache Nägel?
ביי גונבת לו את האוטו ושורפת לו את הבית הייתה מתעלמת למלא את הנעליים אני לא צריכה הרבה יש פשוט בקיצור
היא לא צריכה יותר מלילה בס
Der Rebbe gewinnt gerecht gegen die Zioinen, I guess.
אם אתה רוצה אותה תכין מספר עד שי יש לי חבר כמו אח שיצא איתה כמעט חודשיים אם תתקלו בו בצומת זרקו לו שקל שתיים
מחפשת איש פשוט
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
הבטחה דחוף למעבר 6, ילדה התעלפה קטפוצ'יפס דיבר אליה.
All right. Not sure was du gewatcht. It was weird, I tell you. It was definitely weird. But I guess this the Israeli kind and Israeli style. All right, Gevra. Sie kommen der Zeit, man geht sich gesegnen. Hold on. Was ist das? Sie gewinnen etwas Wachtnacht, Sheva-Bruches, ich weiß was, es ist crazy Sheva-Bruches zu gehen. All the singers sind da gewesen. Wo bei noch der Videolink? Da-da-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa. Tiri-pira-pa-pa-ra-pa-ra. Alright, חבר'ה. What? Wrong button? Alright. Sie kommen der Zeit, sich zu gesegnen. Sie suchen eine gute Nacht. Kein Mal nicht easy. But ich will unheimlich mit Schkoich für jeder eine, was sie gewinnt für eine kurze Zeit, für eine lange Zeit, für die ganze Zeit. Ja, vielleicht ist es umgegangen auf eine andere Tab. Und vielleicht macht mir eine andere Tab, aber warum ich meine dir? Shaya! Hello and welcome. Wir geben Schkoich für alle Menschen, die haben geliked, geshared, gecomment, alle Commenters. Jeder einer, was support the channel, alle Members, alle neue Members, alle Subscribers. Und du bist noch du, und du kannst geben ein Like der Video, so helft mich heraus. Du kannst hitten the subscribe button, helft mich auch heraus. Housekeeping. Nothing major. Tomorrow 9 o'clock live. Morgen is Wednesday, so it's nur du in the free. Bei Nacht ist du. Wednesday is an off bei Nacht. So that is housekeeping. Happy birthday for Avrumi and happy birthday for Brooklyn. May they only see health, wealth, gezind nachher Parnusa the whole 9 yards. All right. A gute Nacht, everybody. Until next time, stay kind to one another. Peace.